Good morning, crazy people. I started a whole, 20 seconds early. Woohoo! Hi, Rhonda. Good morning. Good morning, TG. Good morning, Kristen. Oh, and TG for your banana poops. Hope everyone is having a good morning. Rhonda, I miss you too, honey. I know. You just can't wait to see me again, right? Good morning, Amy.
Good morning.
Love you too, TG. Now, Rhonda, come on. It was scheduled for 9:30. What is with everybody going, oh, it's scheduled for 9:30. Go sooner. How are you this morning, Amy?
Honestly, I don't know how well of a, oh my God, like words are hard, but I don't know how good of company I'm going to be. But I know you don't like to be on here by yourself.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't do well going solo.
Oh, I don't talk at all if it's just me. You know that. My channel, your channel, I don't care whose channel. I don't talk when it's just myself.
Oh, I'm sorry you were bored, Rhonda. I almost shut my alarm off.
What were you bored for, like 10 minutes, Rhonda?
I almost shut my alarm off. My alarm went off at 9:00 because I wasn't able to get to sleep last night. I kept trying to go to sleep and it wasn't working. And at like 6:00 this morning, I was like, and at 9, I did finally fall asleep around 6:30. And at 9, the alarm went off and I was like, oh, I don't want to get up. I'm like, no. And then I went, shit, I have to do my show this morning. So I got up. Good morning, Susanna.
Good morning, Susanna. I missed somebody. Good morning, toilet girl, or good afternoon, evening, night, whatever it is for you.
It's 5 hours difference from where I am, where she is. So 3:00 in the afternoon, something like that.
Afternoon then. I know it was one of those. I just covered all my bases because I can never remember I barely remember our own time zones here.
Yeah.
But when you start talking different country, I'm out. I just got it situated here. So it's going to be like 5 more years and then I might have the rest of the world in there.
2:30, so I was close. I'm not awake enough for math.
Today's Thomas's birthday?
I thought yesterday was Thomas's birthday.
I just got a notification on Facebook that said today was his birthday.
Huh.
Oh, maybe they celebrated yesterday? I don't know. Because it is Sunday for him.
Right.
So maybe they celebrated on Saturday.
I don't know. Happy birthday, Thomas.
Yeah, I know probably not on here.
I know everybody was saying happy birthday to him yesterday. Well, happy birthday or happy belated birthday, Thomas. He sometimes makes the show, sometimes he doesn't. So, yeah, the only way I could tell that my son had been here this morning to put the dogs out is because he let them in the craft room. I could hear dog toenails in that room, and I left that door closed to keep them out of there. So of course he left the door open so they could wander in and out. Oh, I got you, Rhonda. Yeah, because Australia is like, what, 12 or 13 hours different.
Oh, TG. That's so confusing. So
confusing. TG, you're counting calories, so no cake for you. Ah, see what you're missing out on? Yeah, my son, when he showed up yesterday afternoon, he he grabbed his gaming chair. That was it. I'm like, you're showing up in a minivan. You could pack up a couple of boxes of stuff and take it with you. His stuff is all still here except for some clothes, the gaming chair, and his PlayStation 4 and his gaming monitor.
Priorities.
I'm like, get your shit out.
Priorities. The gaming chair is more important.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't take it in the first place because, it's brand new. He got one of those like heavier people, the office chairs, to use as his gaming chair. Oh, Suzanne, I'm sorry you have a headache. I love it when people rub my head or play with my hair. I love that.
I've been on this emotional stuff lately, and it doesn't help anything. I don't know if I'd say I was stressed out. I just know that I feel like I'm on a roller coaster and can't get off of it.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah. I've been like this for a few days. I just feel totally off. Like I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to sit here and do nothing.
Yeah.
And that's lame, I know, but that's just how I feel right now.
I know I have a lot of stuff I want to do. I just can't do it all. You know what I mean? It's frustrating to have to move slowly and do a little bit at a time.
I don't even want to do that. Like I don't even know. I haven't even listened to music, and you know how I am with my music. I have not listened to music in like 3 days. That's a all day, every day type deal.
Yeah. Oh, Susanna. Look at that. Susanna not feeling good. Do you have allergies or anything, Susanna, that could be causing this? I mean, is it swollen or does it just feel like it's swollen? Well, my son hasn't physically spoken to me in like 4 days. He comes, he puts the dogs out, he says absolutely nothing to me. So the last I knew of, he said that he would be completely moved out when they changed his schedule, yet physically he has not been here since last Monday, but all his stuff is still here. Shows up twice a day to feed the dogs or to put the dogs out, and still hasn't taken most of his crap or packed it up. It's like, I need the space out there because when my mother's able to start coming over again, we're going to try and move most of my stuff that you see in my background usually out into the living room, which will be my storage area, so that I can maneuver around in my bedroom, which means I'll be able to turn my bed into a not the middle of the room type of situation. I'll be able to put a sheet on it. That'll be nice. Things like that. Set it up like an actual bedroom instead of a storage locker. And the living room will then be the storage locker. I mean, I don't care if he leaves stuff here, just so long as it's packed up neatly and out of the way, I don't know if he's taking his bed. I know his box spring's broken. That's still out there. There's 2 dressers that are in the way that he just used as a barricade to kind of give himself privacy. Those need to go out. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that has to be taken out of this house. And so far, none of it has been. And I'm like, please don't make me ask the neighbors to help me. I hate having to ask other people for help. It's like, it's your responsibility. You should do it. So can we get it done, please? So it's done and over with. And I can then, my mother and I can get the rest of the house cleaned up because the kid doesn't clean up after himself. And, I can have my house back. That'd be nice. So, I don't know. He's not giving me updates on what the game plan is, so I have no idea what's going on, and I hate that. So I have to ask the landlord to put new locks on my doors. Because my son I was the only one that still had keys left to the house. Everybody else had lost their keys. And I gave them to my son because when, working and coming home different hours a day, he was the one going in and out of the house. And he gave them to the roommates and they never gave them back. So we have to leave the door unlocked. And where I'll be basically living by myself, I really don't want to leave my door unlocked 24 hours a day. So I need to have the locks changed so that I can give him the key so he can get in to help with the dogs. So the landlord will probably charge me for new locks. On a good note, I will actually be able to make rent this month and have money for food and necessities that I need, So that's good. Even though my son shorted me $25 of the money he said he was going to give me, and then said, "Oh, the ATM must have not given me enough." Really? Because the ATM comes out in amounts of 20s. You shorted me $25. So how does that work? So yeah, I mean, his dog is kind of a deterrent. If anybody even comes up on the porch or pulls in the driveway or anything, that dog starts barking her ass off, and she sounds really vicious. So, it's the big dog that will bite somebody if they try coming in the house, but it's the little one that sounds mean. So, I don't know. I just would like to get my house organized, and I need all his stuff out of my way to do that. Working on it. Yeah, to have more space in my room for maneuverability to get the wheelchair around and things like that would be nice. The animals, I'm sure, would appreciate more room in here too. I'd like to get their cat tree out of my craft room and into my room once I have space in here. That way they can climb around on that instead of on me. I feel like a human pincushion. So we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Yep, Kristen, that's what they say. Well, if my mother will probably be over Wednesday, and if he doesn't have stuff maneuvered around, then her and I will probably start packing up his stuff. And that's on him if it's not how he wants it packed, because he should have done it himself. So, and it will be all behind whatever I put out there. Hey, Virginia. Because, if you want access to your stuff or you want your stuff, then you should have done it yourself. I might be your mother, but damn, you're 27 years old, child.
Hi, Virginia.
Adulting would be a good plan. So that's where I'm at right now. The wheelchair is working out well. I can stay in it for longer, more comfortably, So that's a good thing. It's just he seems to think that I can just hop in it back and forth, whenever I want to. And mentally I could, but physically my knee won't allow for that. So I can get in the wheelchair like twice a day. I can stay, I can stay in it for longer. So that's okay. And once I can get some of the stuff out of my room, I'm going to continue putting stuff in the craft room. I'm working out a system on how to do that myself because my mom won't be able to help me. Amy's camera is always off, and I don't want to be up here by myself. That's why.
Yeah, I never turn my camera on. If I do, all you see is my hands or whatever I'm showing. I don't show myself.
I don't like being on camera all by myself.
Victoria was lucky because I wanted to put a mask on, like just like a regular, mask. And she's like, "You don't have to do that." And I'm like, "But I feel I do." The hide, that's just how I am.
I don't
They're
know.
probably both sleeping.
Yeah, that would be my guess. Tina doesn't usually get up this early. And Willow is touch and go, however her schedule is going. So,
And I just don't sleep much, so I'm like always awake, it seems.
right? Hey, that works for me. Because then my badass comes to my rescue and doesn't leave me up here all by myself. Good morning, Papa.
Good morning, Papa.
So, other than my personal drama, I got nothing going on. I got nobody to bitch about. Really.
I could, but what's that really gonna do for me?
I don't know. Bitching about shit gets my frustrations out. It releases negative energy. So, it works for me.
I
It's
bitch
just
about stuff. I just don't usually do it on a live, but unless I'm really pissed off about something, and then I don't even think about being live.
I don't talk to too many people, so you guys are it. Shut up, TG. She's pushing my limits over there. Yeah, I watched a video yesterday that kind of touched on. Okay. I have no idea what that is, Virginia. Which touched on something that I've said before about. Did you see Loot Raider's video, her live yesterday?
I did. Well, yeah. I didn't see it live. I watched it at like 3 this morning.
Yeah.
Because she went live. I think she went live the same time we did. So I missed it.
Oh, okay. Well, she touched on something that I've mentioned before, and she has good points, and it's pretty much the same point that I've made. And that was that if you go into an auction, this is someone's livelihood. It's their business. It's how they make money. Even if it's a side gig, it's still how they're making money to get by. Don't go in and disrupt. Go in and chat, and not too extensively, but to just go in and say hi to people and say hi to your hosts, and you can make commentary, but don't start a fight with people in the chat. Don't argue in the chat. It's disruptive.
Exactly.
And it distracts people from what's going on.
And if there's people in the chat that you don't like, this is what I do. If I can't be an adult and if they say hi, just say hi back or ignore them, I leave.
Yeah.
Because I don't always buy from auctions. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But if there's somebody that comes in the chat or on the panel that I don't like, I'm like, bye guys, see you later, have a good night, day, whatever it is. And I might check back later to see if that person's gone and then hang out for a little bit longer. But if they're not, I just stay away.
Because Rhonda hit mod mode. She's yelling at me now. Rhonda went caps. Rhonda hit mod mode. She said that they closed it down early and that they lost money. So whatever trouble, I did not see the auction that this happened at, but
I came in at the end of it, so I didn't actually see the whole thing. I just came in at the end of it, and I know her and Nikki both were upset about it. Not like mad, yelling, pissed off, not like that, but like I've never heard Nikki talk like that. So I was like, what the heck? But
from what she said in her live, it was disruptive, whatever was going on. It wasn't towards her or Nikki, but it was like in the chat itself, between two people in the chat, and that it just caused problems, and they shut the auction down early, and so they lost income. There's no way to tell how much because you don't know what things would Well, the subject in general is a good one to talk about, Rhonda. Just respect for the people that are holding the auction and not disrupting. You know what I mean? Like if you have a problem with someone personally, don't bring it into someone's auction. Bring it into something like this, like mine. That's a whole different thing. Because you're not interfering with me making any money. You know what I mean?
Well, in all honesty, if you have a problem with somebody, maybe you should try to have a private conversation with that person and settle it like adults instead of bringing it into somebody's chat or on their panel to begin with. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my outlook on it. Whether it's your chat where it's just a chit chat type thing, or it's an auction, or it doesn't matter. Like, just be an adult and privately talk to each other and try to settle it.
Yeah.
And
But
if you
then
can, at
there's,
least just, you know, like, just don't talk to each other.
yeah. I mean, I've gone into places where there's been, like, say Kathy's in there. I don't acknowledge her in. Well, that's what she said, Rhonda, in her live. Is that there was a problem in the chat, it caused a bunch of problems, and that they shut down early. So
Yeah, that's what she said yesterday.
yeah,
Not in the actual auction, but in the video yesterday. She said
yeah,
that there was people in the chat causing problems, and I can't remember what she said after that. Oh, and it had nothing to do with Loot or Nikki.
right,
It was people in the chat. I didn't see the chat when I went in. It was like maybe like 3 minutes before they ended it, and when I
yeah,
watched, I rewound it and watched. I couldn't see the actual chat. I could just hear what they were saying.
right. So I'm only going by what Luke said in her video yesterday because I wasn't there, and she said she deleted that auction. So
Mm-hmm.
they're
And
again
from what
losing.
I heard
Sorry.
about it, I didn't see. It's fine. I just know I made sure that Nikki was okay. Me and Nikki are friends, so of course I'm going to check on my friends.
Yeah,
And I asked her if she was okay, and she's like, I think so. And I'm like, I don't know what happened. I just wanted to make sure you were okay. She was really upset about it.
yeah.
And of
So is
course,
Luke.
you know, well, I
Yeah,
don't know. I mean, I don't mean to sound mean or anything, but I don't know Luke like I do Nikki. And I don't even know if I have a way, any way, email or social media of any sort to even be like, hey, Luke, are you okay?
yeah. Well, I could just tell by the way that she was talking, and she said she was upset that it was like all the rest of that night and that day, and that's sad. And so the main goal was to have respect, you know, just have respect, especially
Mm-hmm.
for the auctioneers. I mean, in any auction you go into, you should have respect for the people that are either hosting it or auctioning things off. Have respect for them. This is how they're making their money, and again by deleting an auction, they're losing secondary auction money because somebody could see that later, rewatch it, and see something that didn't sell and want it, and email them to say they wanted to buy it. So you know it's not up now, so they don't have that either. It's just I love the example she put. If you're walking up to my door and you step in dog shit, take your shoes
Mm-hmm.
off before you come in my house. You're welcome in my house, but your shitty shoes are not. And then that's a perfect way to put it. And I liked that. I was like, nice. So, but the reason she
There
put
was
the
a there was another lady um that was talking about, she wasn't talking about I don't think she was anyway, if so I missed it, but she was talking about um when you come to sit at her table, leave your drama at the door. And she's like, if person A and person B want to both sit at my table, they're more than welcome, but I'm not going to listen to it. I'm not going to hear it. And I don't know really what that was about because she didn't specifically say this person or that person, but it's kind of like going to someone's house. You're not going to go to someone's house. Well, I personally am not going to like come over to your house and like tell your son off. We'll
right,
just use that as an example. I'm not going to be like, look, you little motherfucker. I'm not going to do that because it's your house, it's your business. And I would hope that people would respect others in their chat, not to be rude or disrespectful. But I've seen it a lot. I mean, that's not the first time I've seen it. It happened in mine that one time. Of course, I don't really give people the option to do that, but it happened in mine, and I'm just like, oh my God, how do I handle this? And I really wanted to go off, but instead I kept my cool, said what I wanted to say, and I mean, I wasn't rude, but the person in the chat was being rude,
Yeah.
which holding my cool like that is not always easy.
Good morning, Jennifer. And I forgot to do something. Tita wasn't here to remind me.
Good morning, Jennifer.
Just noticed that I forgot to pop the link in there.
Oh, well,
just in case
I
anybody.
didn't remind you. I always forget that part because I don't usually do that, I guess.
That's okay. One second. Sorry, I had to respond to a message. How's your daughter, Jennifer? How's she doing? That diabetes shit's scary as fuck.
Didn't she have her other daughter in the hospital too? Or at the hospital, I should say.
Good morning, Roy. My hyper monkey. You finally made it to one of my shows. Yay. I don't know. Oh, cat. Seriously, no. Oh. Cats, man, they're like children. As soon as you're busy doing something, they want to climb all over you.
Mm-hmm.
I popped in a Roy's auction briefly last night and said hey, but I was fading out at the time, so I ended up like kind of drifting off, and then I was like, okay, if I'm falling asleep, I'm gonna lay down, and then I tried to lay down, and it didn't work. And yeah, I was a mess last night.
I have this problem lately. I'm so tired. I lay down and go to sleep, and I'm like wide awake. And I'm like, maybe I should just start sleeping sitting up. You know, that's when I'm really tired anyway.
Right. Sorry, I had to yell at the dog. She wouldn't stop drinking water. If my dog drinks too much water, she'll get sick. So, oh no, Jennifer.
I thought that's what I had
Ooh.
seen somewhere.
Is she okay?
Facebook, I think.
Damn, Jennifer, we gotta wrap your whole family in bubble wrap.
Bubble wrap and packing peanuts.
Right? John used to call those ghost farts.
That's funny.
The first time he said it, I laughed so hard I almost inhaled one of them. That was funny. I was like, damn. He's like, damn, a ghost fart tried to kill you. See that? I'm like, shut up. No, Jennifer. Yeah, kids will do that. Hell, mine gives me one pretty much daily, and
I didn't really start worrying about mine until now that Nick is an adult, well, he's been an adult. He's 19 now. And Andrew's getting ready to turn adult age. And I'm just like, and then I find out that Andrew's got a job. And I'm just like, no, you cannot grow up like this. It's like, I'm supposed to have a job, Mom. I'm almost 18, but I'm like, but you're so little. Like, I remember, like, I didn't even, oh, yeah. My babies aren't babies, that's for sure. Can't even pick them up anymore.
Oh, cat. She is in a mood the past couple of days. I don't know. She is at that connecting door wanting to get in there and play with the dogs, and only one of them really wants to play with her. The other one will just try to eat her. Ugh, stop. Well, alrighty then. Awkward silence. Thought Walmart was calling to tell me they caught her shoplifting or something at first. She's lucky that wasn't the case. Yeah. Yeah, I always hated making those calls to parents because the shock on parents, and usually they'd come in denying that their kid would ever do something like that. And I'm like, look, I'm like, I do have better things to do than to, make up lies about your kid who I don't even know and then call you and tell you the lies. So yeah, busted. But usually they'd start spouting off about how their kid was an angel. And I'm like, really? If you heard what I heard when this kid was walking around the store, you would not be thinking they were an angel. Exactly. But, yeah. It's just craziness, What was really bad is when parents shoplifted and they had their kids with them. That killed me right there. You're committing a crime with your child with you. You're risking losing your children because you got to have something shiny that you got no right to. But, especially if they have money in their pocket. They got money and yet they're stealing. It's like, stop it. Just stop it. TG, no, you're not. That halo is tarnished so bad it's a blue. Okay, stop that. So, God, Ken, what is wrong with you? And no, she's not in heat because she's fixed. And yes, they have food. She's just in a mood. I don't know. So, my back is all twingy again today. Not as bad as it was the other day, but
Tina was hilarious last night. Oh my gosh.
I did not see
you missed it. She was great. I mean, I laughed so hard.
Whose auction was she in?
Tania's.
I don't go to auctions too much because I just can't afford them, and it depresses me when I see something that I really, really want and I can't get it. And I have enough bullshit in my life without adding more depression to it. So I try to avoid anything. Like, I don't watch sad videos if I can help it, because the least little thing sets me off. And so, yeah, sometimes I'll go in, I'll be like, hey, what's up? Hi. And then I leave. Besides that, I can't chat too much by typing because of my hands hurting. So
that's how I was for a while. Like, I would go in and say hi. And then, say hi to everyone in the chat that would say hi. And then I'd be like, okay, I'll see you guys later.
Thomas, happy birthday.
Hey, Thomas.
He's here. He has arrived. We all said happy birthday to you earlier.
We did. I'm not singing to you, though. You don't want to break your ears. Nobody wants broken ears today.
No. TG wants some cake, but she can't have any because she's on a diet. She's counting calories, so no cake for her.
But the box that the cake comes in, that doesn't have calories.
I know I don't have to buy anything, Rhonda, but seeing it, wanting it, and not being able to get anything, it depresses me. I mean, I know my own mind, and if going to auctions and hanging out there is going to make me upset, then why am I going to do it? Occasionally I will, or I'll hang out for a little while and say hi and chit-chat and stuff, but normally it's stop. God. I especially can't go to jewelry or gem auctions. But I'll go in, I'll give it a thumbs up. Even if I don't say anything, I'll go in and give a thumbs up to support people, Oh my God, really? She is, I don't know what's wrong with my cat today. I really don't.
She's got an opinion about it.
She is, I mean, right at the connecting door that goes into the craft room, and she's just freaking out. I don't know. I have no idea. She's trying to get her head under the door. It's weird. Ow. Yeah, well, she wants in that room, and there's nothing in that room except the dogs right now, so she can't do that. So who broke Cody's cat, right? My cat's broken. I got one that squeaks like she needs to be oiled, and the other one is, I don't know, she's freaking out.
That's what it sounds like she's saying is out.
My dog is looking at me like, what is wrong with her? Make her stop. Oh, too funny. I know, right, Roy? Ah! I don't know. Animals gone wild in my house today. But at least I didn't have to wait too long to go out this morning. Because I don't know what time he shut up. Sometime between 6 and 9. Put the dogs out. So, at least that was a good thing. Sometimes the one day he didn't show back up. And I was waiting because I thought maybe he was working until 2 in the morning, which means he would have shown up here at like 2:15, 2:30. But he just never showed up until the next day. And so the dogs went almost 24 hours without going out. I was not happy. I got to get this leg action thing going here so I can do it myself. Which is also a work in progress. So, yeah. So yeah, there's not really too many. Yeah, I know, Jennifer. And then, if the dogs, Simi doesn't have accidents unless she's got an upset stomach. But the dogs out there, I mean, I've got a geriatric dog out there that really can't go that long between, potty breaks. And so they'll have accidents out there and he'll yell at them when he has to clean it up. And I'm like, well, if you showed up, more than once or twice a day to put the dogs out, this would not be a problem. It's kind of common sense, but I had to put a pooper scooper type of thing on my Amazon list for this month, and because he left a little landmine in my kitchen for 2 days, and I can't deal with that. And I couldn't reach it sitting in the wheelchair. I can't bend that far to reach the floor to clean that up a mess. So I was like, okay, this is not going to happen again. You know what I mean? Because I have to be able to maneuver the wheelchair, and if the dog's poop or something on the floor, and it's in my way, I can't roll over that. That's gross. So that could potentially block me from making food or, getting out to the rest of the house. So I ordered this little hand-held thing that you can put inside a bag and then scoop, and then it's easy disposal, easy cleanup. So that as long as it's not like gross and mushy, I can clean it up myself, because it's ridiculous. No, Jennifer, some can't. And Miha has a problem. I mean, Miha's almost 12 years old. She's a Shepherd Akita mix. So for her size dog, that's pretty old. So, and, so I'll take care of it myself if I have, well, I'll be going out there more, not necessarily more often, but for longer periods of time. And if I need to get by, then, because I don't want to be making food with a pile of crap in my kitchen. That's gross, I have no idea why he didn't just clean it up, but he didn't. So, which is why I'll be glad when I can use my prosthetic again. Then I can put the dogs out more often, which is what they need. Now, and then my only problem is if something happens while they're outside, I will not be able to get down the steps to get to them. But still, it's a better chance than what they're dealing with now, because all kinds of medical problems can come from the dogs having to go that far in between. You know what I mean? And I definitely can't afford those kind of vet bills. Liver and kidney problems, bladder problems, things like that. So my cat's just sitting here staring at me now like I owe her money. But I am looking forward to not having anybody else in the house. I mean, because even when he was here, he didn't talk to me, so it was kind of pointless. All that came out of there was negative energy and negativity and grunting. Hey, Mac. It's Mac's first time, too. Welcome, Mac. Yeah, always the kids. So I like living by myself. It's just right now in the physical situation I'm in, it's more difficult. There are things that I won't be able to do that if he doesn't do, I'm going to have to ask my neighbor for help with, like getting my trash out. He didn't empty the kitchen trash Wednesday. He didn't take the trash I had out here, and he didn't take that out. I mean, come back from Jamaica, nice. I come from Jamaica. We smoke 100 spliffs a day. I used to hang out with some Jamaicans in Massachusetts. Yeah, lots of cursing. There will be no more game rage. Put it this way, Jennifer. He is now living on a third-floor apartment in an apartment building, and I know apartment building walls are very thin, so all of his neighbors get to deal with his raging. But it's not me, so that's fine with me. Good luck to them. Okay, TG. No worries, man. Yeah, I partied with Jamaicans, man. They do some wild parties. When I was younger, when I was 18, 19. Hell yeah. Good night, Thomas. I hope you have a good night, a good day. But I like the peacefulness of having my house the way I want it instead of it. Cause I mean, he didn't want to live here. So he didn't take care of the house, it's like he'd be like a foot away from the trash can and he'd just leave trash on the counter, or it would fall on the floor and he'd leave it there. I can't deal with that. No. I mean, it might look like, I'm a slob because of what's behind me, but I'm not. I keep my house picked up. There aren't dirty dishes piled up in my sink when I'm by myself. The house stays picked up, and yeah, my living room will look like a storage area because everything that's behind me will be going out there, but it will be stacked and neat. Not just everything thrown everywhere, So I don't know. I don't care if you don't like where you live, clean up after yourself. My mom comes in and she goes, "Well, you guys aren't keeping this very clean." I'm like, "Mom, I don't even come in the kitchen. It's not me, it's him." Hey, Susie. I'm like, I have nothing to do with anything because for months the wheelchair hurt so bad that I just didn't get in it unless I had to. And so I wasn't going into the rest of the house unless my mother was coming over. So I didn't have anything to do with upkeep or maintenance or anything else in this house. So, I mean, my mom was very upset because she came over and she cleaned the kitchen one day and she came over the next week and it was back to being gross again. And she's like, "Well, I'm not going to keep cleaning it." I'm like, I know. But next week she'll be bringing over a grocery order, which unfortunately he won't be here to help carry things in. So she will have to do it herself. Tina made a good suggestion. She said I should get like a little wagon or something so that my mom just has to pull it up the ramp. And that way she doesn't have to make more trips than necessary. And it won't be as hard on her back and stuff. So I can't afford it this month, but maybe next month I'll be able to invest in a little red wagon or some kind of transportation situation so that it's a little easier for her. So, but yeah, my mom won't be able to help me with the craft room because I have to put his dog in the craft room when I'm, she's over here. So she can help with the rest of the house and she can help with my room, but I'm going to have to do the rest of the craft room myself, which means going will be even slower. But I will get it done because I can't take it too much longer. I need to be able to make my stuff. One, because then I won't have to get as much money from my son, because he did say he would help with rent and everything. And I appreciate that. I really do, because I don't want to be homeless. But I don't want to need his money. Lexi! Hi, honey. Don't roll out of bed. You tend to land hard, and that's never fun. I've done that. So everything is going progressively forward, just slowly. I'll get there, though. I will. My new game plan is to empty out one of these drawer units, the plastic drawer units like that you get from Walmart, and empty that out and then get that transferred into my craft room and start putting stuff away, because I need at least one of the tall drawer units and one of the smaller drawer units, or two of the taller ones, whichever. But I need at least one tall one and one small one to be able to put all my metal stamping and my metal smithing supplies in that room and get them organized. And since that's what I want to work on first, the beads and stuff can wait a little bit. I mean, usually I use, with the metal stuff, I use the beads as accents. So I don't need all of those in there right now. So my main goal right now is to get my metal stamping and metal smithing stuff in there, and so I can get started making stuff. So that will shorten down the amount of time that I need, or how long it will take to do that, I guess. It's just everything crazy right now, and it'd just be a lot simpler if he would just finish doing what he's doing and all this stuff is out of my way, It'd be much, much simpler. Ow, that hurt. Oh, good, Susie. Getting a new microwave. That's awesome. My son doesn't know how to microwave things. The inside of that microwave is gross. But I put food on my grocery list that I can make in my crock pot and stuff that I can microwave and things like that. So I've pretty much, I think, managed to put enough food in my grocery list. My grocery list is like at $160 right now or so, but I've managed to put enough that it should last me almost 4 weeks, 3 weeks, almost 4 weeks, depending on if I still eat once a day or not. So I will tell you right now, reduced fat peanut butter, don't eat it. I don't know if it's just me or what, but one, it does not taste like real peanut butter. Yeah, see? And two, that shit goes right through you. My son, I put on my list of stuff for him to grab me to last until I get my disability. I had put a 16-ounce jar of peanut butter. And what he brought me was a 40-ounce jar of reduced fat peanut butter, and he's like, "This is all they had." I'm like, then you should have gotten nothing. You know what I mean? I have Messenger. He could have messaged me and given me other choices, but nope. It does have a funky aftertaste, and it's just kind of like paste. It's not good. It's not good at all. Yeah. So I'm not eating it. I agree, Papa. It's just not good. Mm. This was not my choice. You know, they had no Pringles. He did send me a picture of the Pringles shelf. They had none of the original Pringles or like lightly salted Pringles, which is funny because they shop at the same place I get my pickup order, and according to my pickup order, they still had them in stock, but according to the picture, they didn't have any. I don't know, whatever. So, but I've started keeping like a jar of peanut butter and some bread in my room so that if I get hungry, but I'm hurting too bad to. It is Jif peanut butter, Kristen. It's reduced fat Jif. I actually like Skippy, but it's more expensive, so I opted for Jif. Um, so he spent $5 of my money instead of $2.50, and I can't eat it. But yeah, there are certain things I can't do generic. I can't do Walmart cheese either. I don't like it. It doesn't taste like cheese to me. It just tastes like nothing. You know? Some things I can do generic, some things I can't. You need 100 cups of coffee, Lexi? No, 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 off of me. Freaking cat argues with me. Yeah. So, and then he put. I had him grab me 4 bottles of Pepsi. He put 3 of them in the fridge. I'm like, why? Did you? I haven't had Pepsi in the fridge or any kind of soda in the fridge for 2 years. I've been drinking warm soda because I didn't want to keep asking people to fill my smaller bottle. And he goes, well, you got the new wheelchair so you can get around more, so you can go get cold soda. I'm like, I cannot jump up into that wheelchair every time I want something to drink. It, and I've told him this, and he doesn't comprehend the fact that I can't be a little jumping bean in and out of the wheelchair all day long. Nice, Papa. Yeah, I mean this thing. I open this. You know how when you open a brand new jar of peanut butter and you take that seal off, and all you get is that peanut butter smell, and it's so good. It's like, oh, yeah, this doesn't even smell like peanut butter. I've tried almond butter. I've tried cashew butter because my doctor at one point told me that eating nuts as a snack would be a good thing. And I'm looking at him with all my broken teeth, and I'm like, really? How exactly should I do that? And he goes, well, you can get the natural butters. And so I did try, and I spent a fortune on those 2 things, and they were horrible. I was like, ew, no. So I ended up giving them to John, and even he didn't like them. So we gave them to Issa because that girl has no taste buds and she'll eat anything. So, yeah. Cookie butter? I've never heard of cookie butter. See, Kristen, I grew up with Skippy peanut butter. So Skippy is my jam, but it's peanut butter and jam. Yeah, creamy Skippy. But Jif is a close second to that for my taste buds from what I'm used to. And as long as I don't get peanut butter that all the oil accumulates on the top, because I hate that, and it makes the peanut butter too runny. I'm good. So Jif is cheaper than Skippy, so Jif it is. So yeah, I got some stuff that I can make meals with, and I even got some. I put some of those little storage containers on my list, and that way when I make, because if I'm cooking in the crock pot, it's going to be more than just one meal, so I can put them in the little containers, and I have more meals. It works for me. I think they all have a lot of sugar in them, except probably the reduced fat one, which is probably higher in sodium or something. I don't know. But my My weakness is peanut butter and fluff sandwiches. I love fluffernutters. But that's basically like just eating a marshmallow sandwich. I mean, it's so sweet. And I can't have fluff in the house if my son is here because he eats it with a spoon. Well, he used to. Him and his sister used to steal my marshmallow fluff all the time. Huh. Waffles and half a peanut butter sandwich every meal now. Well, my doctors told me I should. Well, it was a nurse that told me I should do a Mediterranean diet, which is when I mentioned that to my doctor's like, "Oh yeah, snacking on nuts and stuff is good for you." And Susie, yeah, I'm not having that problem right now because I'm looking at chart reduce fat, and I know what will happen if I try to eat any of it. So that and it's not even taste tempting. No. But with my budget, in order to eat as healthy as one should, I can't afford it. So I've got a lot of stuff on there that's healthier, and I have other stuff that's probably not because they're microwave meals and they're like Marie Callender. And I also can't make anything in a sauce pot, like a pot, because I can't see into it. And my counter, when I'm sitting in the wheelchair, my counter is at like chest level. So given my bad back, having to move like boiling water from the stove to my sink to drain anything is potentially dangerous, and I really don't want to burn myself. So I can cook in a frying pan and a skillet. I just can't cook in anything that's got a high, side on it that I can't see into. So hey T, I did get mom. My son took the thing of hamburger that he had out that he was going to make food with. He took that with him over to his friend's house. So I ate his hot dogs last night. That's what I had for dinner. He had a pack of hot dogs in there. And I was like, oh, well, you took the hamburger, so I'm going to eat some hot dogs. There's still 4 left. I don't know if he took them this morning or not, because as soon as he walks in the door, he opens the fridge. I don't know why. He knows I can't go shopping yet, but that's what he does. So my mom brought him a cookie cake type of thing for his birthday. His birthday was the 26th, and I didn't even get a piece of it. He took the whole thing over to Hector's for him, Hector, and Hector's wife Dorothea to eat. So I got none of it. So I'm like, thanks. No food in the house, but take the one thing we have to eat. Lexi, why are you chewing peanut butter? It's like already a paste. So yeah, but we still have a pound of sausage in the freezer, and so I grabbed put a bag of frozen grilled peppers and onions on my list so I could have sausage and peppers. Yummy. Yum, yum, yum. It's weird. Okay. But one of the things my mom and I are going to have to do is move the skillets and the frying pans down where I can reach them. Because right now they're in an upper cabinet, which I don't know why they're up there, but they are. And so we have to move the things that I can use down to a lower level. I also need to buy silverware because all my silverware in the house disappeared. Yeah. It's gone. There's 1 fork left out there. I'm like, what the hell? Where did all my silverware go? He most likely threw it away because he didn't want to wash it. So that's what he did when he was little. He threw all my forks away because he couldn't stand washing forks. So I do have a brand new set of silverware. It's the Walmart, the ones with the little plastic handles on them. But they're buried in my land of somewhere. Because I got them when I well, a friend of mine bought them for me, and I picked them up at Walmart. And when we got the new house, when we had moved over to the other house, but I never opened them because I had taken some of my silverware with me. So I was like, well, why get more stuff dirty, you know? And so they're still in the package and everything, but I just have no idea where they are. Mm. Yeah, but it's too hard to cut things with like a plastic knife. So I like to have, butter knives and things like that. I mean, I've got plenty of sharp knives. I just don't have any butter knives. I have like 2 butter knives. So, and pasta, I can't eat pasta with a plastic utensil because it just slides off it. I don't know. I don't know why, but I've always had difficulty with plastic utensils and any kind of pasta. So, I mean, I have a set. I have a knife, fork, and a spoon in my room that I clean every time I use it because my son would forget to bring me something to eat with when he'd bring me food, and then he'd get mad because I'd have to ask him to go get me a fork, which could also be why he threw them all away. Um, so I just kept them in here, but yeah, yeah. So I don't know. We'll get things situated so that it's so I can use it at least until I can use my prosthetic, which that'll make it a lot easier in the kitchen because then I can reach things that are up too high. And right now we're gonna have to move the. I have an independent cabinet that we put spices in, herbs and spices, and that's up on top of my counter, which I can reach part of the bottom shelf of it. So I need to move that. My mom wants to go over through everything and throw out everything expired, and I'm like, are you gonna replace it all? Because um, unless you're gonna replace it, I can't throw them away yet. I mean, they're dried. Most of them are still sealed, so they're just a little less potent. But unless they have mold or something on them, they're fine. Herbs and spices are too expensive to replace. I still would only be able to reach the bottom. I'd only be able to reach the bottom shelf, and there are 3 shelves. So once I'm able to stand up out of the wheelchair, I can reach everything, and I can use the counter. As it is, I can't use the long counter that we have in there because it's just way too awkward. Yeah, my counter is really high because I have this long island that extends out. It's like 12 feet long. It extends out from the wall all the way across. It's the what separates the living room and the kitchen, and it's really nice work area. So, yeah, Jennifer, exactly. It's a really nice work area. I love cooking in that kitchen because I've got all this space to work in. But when you're sitting down and the counter comes to like neck level, you know what I mean? It's very awkward. I mean, I can use my kitchen table to chop up stuff and all that as a workspace, which isn't a problem. But you know, I gotta rearrange stuff out there and move things around so that it's easier for me to use, which should have been done in the first place. But it's all right. My mom and I can do it. I just don't want my mom lifting anything really heavy, and that's what concerns me about taking my stuff into from my room into the living room. Some of these boxes and totes are really heavy, so a few of the boxes are shredded thanks to Onyx. I'm gonna have to rebox stuff, but unfortunately, trying to get my son to help with anything is virtually impossible. You know, which is sad, really. And I don't want my mom trying to lift anything down from like head level and dropping it on her foot and both breaking her foot and my stuff because I have a lot of breakable stuff. So we don't want that. We don't want anything broken, my mom or my stuff. But we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Amy abandoned me. I'm all by myself, even though she's sitting right there. Her face is right there. I'm all by myself. I hate that. Yes, Jennifer, she could use that. Although she'd still have to lift them to get them down off. Because I mean, morning, Christine. This stuff right there, that tote right there, and the stuff behind it and like directly under it is really heavy. My son actually had to lift this one to get it up there. My mom tried and she got it about an inch off the floor, and I was like, put that back down. I mean, she's just turned 89 years old, so we don't want to break mom, you know? She's in much better health than I am, and I want her to stay that way. Um, there are a lot of really heavy things in here. So it's just getting the stuff down from being stacked. I mean, otherwise she could drag it too. I mean, you know, it can get dragged around and just. But yeah, we'll get there eventually. We'll work it out. You know, I mean that section might have to wait until I'm able to use my leg, because then my mom and I can both lift it down, or I can lift it down, even though I'm not supposed to lift anything over 10 pounds. Like that happens. Hell, I pick up a cat and it weighs more than that. So I know she shouldn't, but she's stubborn and she will. Because that's one of the first things she said is, as soon as my son's stuff was out of the living room, we could move the stuff from. My son won't help, Kristen. He just doesn't. One of the first things she said is, as soon as my son gets all this stuff out of the living room or packed up and organized, that we can start moving the stuff out of my bedroom. So that was her big thing. I would love to say yeah when he comes over, but my son's been over since Monday, the last time he actually slept in the house. He's been over every day except twice a day. The one day he was only here once. And he hasn't said a word to me. Not one word. Not even a hi. Not even a nothing. Not even a grunt. So I know, Jennifer. I know a crap ton of people would help me if you guys lived closer. I mean, if everybody lived closer that says that, my stuff would be moved out of this room in a day. You know what I mean? It wouldn't even take a day. I'd have like 15 people in this house all moving stuff around. It would be done. But unfortunately, it's just me and my mom. So I do appreciate the thought, though. And he's going to have to realize that if he doesn't, he told me he would be out, fully moved out by the time they changed his schedule, but he hasn't told me. I mean, the closest he said is that the schedule should be changed by tomorrow. And that was Monday. He told me that. So, you know, my mom will be here Wednesday. And if his stuff is still sitting like it is now, it's getting packed. I'm going to pull, I mean, it's not like I don't have a cornucopia of cardboard boxes in my room. So I will be pulling boxes out of my room and pulling them forward so that my mom can grab them. And because it's very difficult for me to transport anything while I'm in the wheelchair. And we'll start packing up his stuff. And if it's, yeah, it doesn't do any good, Jennifer. And we'll start packing up his stuff because he's got books, he's got games, he's got, you know, collectible stuff out there. He's got all kinds of stuff out there. And, you know, I mean, he's got his mattress laying on the floor, so I can't even get around the room. And he's letting his dog sleep on it. So I don't even know if he's taking that with him, you know, but he's supposed to get 2 dressers and his box spring at least out of the living room, because the box spring is broken and the 2 dressers are not being used. They're broken. So those don't need to be in the house. And, you know, if I'm not having my mother move any of those things. So if he doesn't get it done by, say, the end of the week, I'll give him till the end of next week. If he doesn't get it done, then I'm going to have to lock the dogs in the craft room and ask my neighbor if him and one or two of his friends can come over and help move that shit out and put it on the side of the road, put it at the curb for the trash people. Or if there's somebody that, we've taken dressers before when we needed some place to put clothes that were missing drawers and stuff like that, because it's still got perfectly good drawers in it. But, and there are handy people that will build a drawer for it, so I have no problem putting stuff like that out at the curb for somebody to take. I have no idea what he's sleeping on. I assume their couch. Not yet. He said he was going to start moving out Tuesday, and Monday night was the last night that he stayed here, and that he would be completely moved out by Sunday, which is tomorrow. Because, well, he said he'd be completely moved out as soon as they changed his work schedule. But I don't see where his work schedule matters since he hasn't slept here since Monday night. So, yeah, he hasn't taken his stuff. Even most of his clothes are still here. So I have no idea what he's sleeping on. Like I said, he hasn't spoken to me. He hasn't spoken to me since, I think Wednesday was the last day he said anything. Yeah, he's living with his friends in their apartment. His dog is staying here. So is Miha. Because it's the third floor apartment, and his dog is not in any way an apartment dog. She barks at everything. And in order to have pets there, they all have to have proof of updated shots, records, and things like that. And so Rogue is staying here. He said he'd come back twice a day, before and after work or whatever, to put the dogs out and feed the dogs out there. And that he'd still help me with rent. So yeah, he's lived with Hector and Dorothea before. That's his independence. Not living with mom. So the last time I knew the game plan was that they were going to have the apartment for about a year or so, and then Hector and Dorothea were going to get a house, and because they're trying to rebuild credit and save up money to put up for a down payment, and then they were all going to move into the house, and then he'll be able to take the dogs with him. So that's the last I knew, and that was 3-4 months ago. The last time he said he was moving out. He just turned 27. He turned 27 on the 26th, and my mom turned 89 on the 25th. And my grandson turned 16 on the 22nd. a lot of July birthdays. So, yeah. But he finally grabbed his gaming chair yesterday. But I knew he was seriously moving out this time because there's been a couple of times he's like, I'm moving out. I'm like, okay, whatever. Freaking out, And he can't afford it. He only works part-time. So I knew he was serious this time because when I went up there Wednesday, his Wednesday, I went up there Wednesday, his PS4 and his gaming monitor were gone. I'm like, oh, I guess he's serious this time because he took his life with him. Yeah. So, yeah. Him and Hector game together. He's been friends with Hector for 6 years. And no, he does not want his own place because that means he would have to pay bills. Like, actually make the payment. He doesn't do that, so... Yeah. He doesn't do well with calling official people. He doesn't do well with, making a payment on a bill or anything like that, because that's why he just hands me money and says, here, you pay it. For the longest time, he wouldn't even give money to cashiers. It took him a long time to get over that. If he went to the grocery store or something, we'd go to the grocery store and he'd have stuff he wanted to buy. He'd have money, but he'd put the stuff with mine and hand me the money. He doesn't interact with people very well. So, but yeah, he works part-time. So although he's getting more an hour now than he was when he worked there before, it's still part-time. Yeah, I would have put him in the shed too, Jennifer. I'm like, nope, get your drunk ass out to the shed. Bye-bye. So, but I like living by myself. I don't have to worry about anybody else's bullshit, I mean, I still have to worry about his behavior partially, but not to the extent that I have been. No. So, I'm not getting grunted at every time I want to say something to him, or and I mean, in a completely pleasant tone of voice Monday, I was like, hey, baby, like that. I mean, that's exactly how I said it. Hey, baby. And he's like, what? You know what I mean? It's not called for. It's not necessary. Wow, Jennifer. That's a lot. So, yeah. My younger two's kid's father finally got his child support paid up when my son turned 24. Yeah. So, that was finally paid off. And it was only like what was it, like $58 every 2 weeks or something. I mean, it was nothing, but yeah, John used to end up in jail all the time for non-payment of child support. So when he finally got his disability, I looked at him. I said, "You make sure your child support's paid up every month." I said, "I'm tired of this shit." And Issa went into the marriage knowing that he had kids that he owed, child support for, and she bitched because they took her taxes. And I was like, "Well, you can file for paperwork on that." I was like, "Or you can just let it slide because you're going to end up paying it anyway." She goes, "Why should I have to pay his child support?" I said, "Because you married him knowing he owed child support. That's why." Yeah. So, yeah, that's ridiculous, Kristen. See, that's so stupid. The big thing with John is that he had a case in Washington State, and Washington State Child Support had contacted him. His daughter got in a rough situation, and there was family that wanted to adopt her, but in order for that to happen, he had to sign off his parental rights. And we discussed it, and at the time, we just didn't have the money to have another kid in the house, although I told him we'd make do, and but we just came to the conclusion, I don't know, Virginia, came to the conclusion that it would be better off for her because the people that wanted to adopt her had a lot of money, and she knew them, and they could get her therapy and things like that. So, so that case was supposed to be closed because he signed off his parental rights. But when they went for child support in South Carolina, they added that in. So he had technically 3 cases because he has 2 kids here in South Carolina and then 1 in Washington State. Or he has he had 1 in California, 1 in Washington State, and then 1 here. He's got 2 kids here. But they're a combined case because it's the same mom. And so they were hitting him up for child support for all 3 cases when it should have been just 2, which granted was enough to still put him in jail for a non-payment. But He contacted Washington. Washington got in touch with South Carolina and was like, look, that case is closed. What are you doing? And they still wouldn't shut it down. It's like, what the hell? Which is actually good in a way, because his daughter they got in touch with us after he died. They saw South Carolina sent them a notification that he had died, and she had been trying to contact him. She tried to contact him a year before he died, but she had the wrong Facebook. He had shut the one Facebook down, and because he couldn't remember the password, so he created a new one, and she only found the old one. And it made me sad that he could have had contact with the one daughter that he had never been able to get to know, because he didn't even know about her until she was 4. But I let her know about him, good and bad, because this ain't no bakery. I don't sugarcoat a damn thing. Yeah, I agree, Jennifer. Yeah, see, I don't understand. I really don't understand the whole. I know it's supposed to scare people into making sure they pay their child support, but if you put someone in jail or you take their license away, if they're working already, they just don't have enough to pay it, or they're just lazy to pay it, they're not going to be able to get to work in order to get the money to pay the support. So I never really understood that. There should be a way that they can legally dock their wages, unless they're getting paid under the table. But I did make sure that he paid his child support the last 2 years that he was alive, because that's when he got his SSI. And it was funny because Issa turned around and said that because the one case was supposed to be closed, she wasn't going to pay the amount anymore. And I was like, no, you're going to pay the full amount, because that's what the courts tell you to do. You don't get to decide when that's paid off. So if you want one of those cases dropped and not have to pay, it was like $75 a month that they worked out for him. So each of the cases got $25. Getting paid under the table is tricky to go after them for. But she just magnanimously made that decision to only give child support $50 a month. I'm like, you're going to put him back in jail. What are you doing? You want that changed? You have to talk to the courts about that. You have to have a judge sign off on that. I'm like, what is wrong with you? But then this is the same girl that says you're not breaking the law unless you get caught. I'm like, wow, okay. I'm like, it's still a law. You're still breaking it. Just because you don't get caught doesn't mean you're not breaking the law. She was like, no, you're not. Yeah, you are. Yeah. Dealing with her was like dealing with a mouse on crack. It was just all over the place. She's just, wow. So yeah, he went to jail a few times for child support because he just didn't have it. When he had me hold on to money and stuff like that. I used to put money aside for his child support, and I'd go down and pay it for him with his money. But then he got a new girlfriend, and all of a sudden had no money again. I was like, well, you go to jail. I'm not bailing your ass out again. Yeah, John never had one either, and he used to get those. John never had a license, and he used to get those papers saying his license would be suspended. He goes, good luck to him. Yeah. So. So, trials and tribulation. I mean, it's on both sides. The mother needs the money, and if the father isn't making enough to pay it, I've seen both sides of it. And I mean, hell, I'm on disability, and when DSS took my kids away, they were like, okay, well, you have to pay child support, and I'm like, what? And they were charging me $50 a month, and I'm like, I have to pay a mortgage. I'm like, what are you talking? I don't have the money for that. And my mom ended up paying it for me for 3 weeks until the next judge threw it out, or 3 months. I got $600 a month at the time for disability, and they wanted $50 a month. I'm like, exactly what am I supposed to live on? I've got a mortgage, I've got bills, I'm still buying stuff for the kids. I'm like, you know, car insurance and tax and, gas and stuff to go see them. And it was crazy. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Why don't you go after their father for, money? Why? What the hell? But nope. Yeah. Well, Jennifer, that was nice. I mean, yeah, Christina doesn't work that way. Yeah, they did the same thing to Issa. They took her taxes, um, and the moms never saw the money. I know the one in South Carolina didn't because I heard about it. So it's crazy. We have one judge here that he's a serious hard ass when it comes to men paying, or, well, anybody paying child support, because his wife divorced him, and the judge for her case granted her $700 a month in child support. I'm like, damn, judges must make good money, you know. But here's John, who was supposed to be paying like $100 a month, and the judge was like, "You're doing time, bang," you know. And he's like, he goes, "If I have to pay 700, you can pay 100." It's like John was out of work at the time, so no, he couldn't, you know. And it's like, what the fuck? So yeah, it was very personal oriented. That judge, after going through that, should not have been on child support cases at all. So, you know. It's like one of the caseworkers that, while she was involved, she was a supervisor for social services here, and she was friends with my daughter's best friend's parents, and she had a 14-year-old daughter that was involved with a much older man, and so she didn't like John at all, and she's the one that coached Kayla into saying that he was inappropriate with her, that he was not touching her but talking to her inappropriately. Um, and he got hauled down to, he told the cop, he's like, "Look, I'll do a lie detector test." He goes, "You can grill me," and he did. He went down there and sat for 2.5 hours hooked up to a lie detector test, and he passed it with flying colors. And my daughter got mad at me because I didn't believe her. And I'm like, I believe the lie detector test. I'm like, I had told her in the beginning, from day one, if anybody, I don't care who it is, talks to you or touches you or says something inappropriate, come and tell me, because I don't care who they are. I'll tear their head off. And she never once said anything to me, and there were plenty of opportunities to do it. And so then all of a sudden, out of the blue, comes this, and I'm like, what? So DSS believed the lie detector test too, but she didn't get mad at them. She just got mad at me. I'm like, I'm sorry, but she had already told them all that we were either manufacturing or doing methamphetamine, and I've never even seen that shit in person. So, I mean, she was lying about a whole bunch of other stuff. There's no way with a proven lie detector test that, I could go with that flow. I just couldn't do it. So she lied to herself and everybody else so often about so many things that she believed them. So she could have passed a lie detector test, but I don't know. It's a very sad situation. She refers to me as the incubator. So I told her, I said, "Well, shit, I guess you overcooked, didn't you?" It is a joke, Jennifer. I mean, unless the person you're getting child support from makes a crap ton of money, that you get, an appropriate share of that, then yeah, it is a joke. I had the kids, my younger two's father, when I was working for the catalog company, I was making like, what was I making? It was a welfare to work program because I was trying to get my ass off welfare. Kids were in daycare, and they were old enough that if anything happened, they could tell me. And so the welfare system provided a voucher for daycare. And I went and I started working at a catalog company and they ran 5 catalogs, a Value Vision television shopping network, and another catalog, Montgomery Ward Direct, which has changed names several times because they suck. But I think I was bringing in around $600 every 2 weeks, which at the time, which was 1996, 97, I think 96, because my son was about two and a half or so. That was pretty good money for then, and so that Christmas that year was really good for everybody. I was able to get everybody, like even passing acquaintances of mine, I was able to get people gifts, which I love giving presents. And the kids each had a gajillion presents under the tree and all of that. I was able to send stuff to my daughter here in South Carolina, big box of stuff, and a little bit of cash for her to be able to buy what she wants. It was a good Christmas. It was one of the best Christmases we've had. And the kid's father comes over to see the kids and give them their gifts, which were all little Family Dollar Tree presents that broke like as soon as they touched them. But then he turns around, looks at me, and goes, "Well, what did the kids get me?" I'm like, "Are you serious right now?" Because yeah, I didn't get him shit. He hadn't been paying his child support. I'm like, "You haven't even been paying your child support." He goes, "Well, it's not child support anyway. It's support for you. You spend it." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I'm spending your $28 a week and on me, and my $600 every 2 weeks is going to the kids. So yeah, okay." I said, "Hold on, I'll get you something for them." So I went up, grabbed a pack of cigarettes, and I came down and threw it at him. I said, "Here you go. Merry Christmas." I'm like, "What the hell?" So, oh, well, that's cool. Well, I ended up losing that job because the welfare worker that was supposed to sign the voucher didn't sign it in time. She had like 3 weeks to sign it, and she never signed it and got it to them in time. So I got a call from their grandmother who watched them after daycare, telling me I didn't have daycare the next day. I'm like, "What?" And there was no way to get it back. And my job, even though they were a 24-hour call center, would not adjust my hours by 1 hour because she said that she could watch them all day, but she'd need to start an hour later and all of that. So they wouldn't adjust my hours by 1 hour. Like go in an hour later, leave an hour later, they wouldn't do it. So I ended up losing my job and being back on fucking welfare. And then I ended up moving out of state. So see, I can't. I never liked kids. Kids bug me. You know what I mean? I can deal with them on a short-term basis, but all day long, nope. I'd be going out of my mind. Out of my mind. I babysat for twins once, and that was it for me. They were 18 months old, and I never babysat again. I was traumatized. Like, never again. So, I liked my own kids. I just didn't want to hang out with a group of kids. And the weird thing is, kids always radiated towards me. Whenever I was at camp, the younger kids would all like focus on me. They'd be like, "There she is," and they'd come running. And I'm like, "Oh my God, go away." You know what I mean? I'm like, "Get away from me." And I was sitting on a hill once, and this little kid, he must have been like 6 or 7 years old, comes running up behind me and goes, "I got you." And he grabbed me around the back of the neck, like from behind. And I just kind of monkey flipped him over me. Whoop, and he went rolling down the hill. He thought that was the greatest thing since sliced bread, man. He come tearing up the hill. "Do it again." I'm like, "Oh my God." So there I am. All his little friends showed up. I'm tossing kids down this hill. I was 13 and I'm just throwing children down a hill and they were having a blast. And I was finally like, "Okay, you guys got to stop. Of course, one of you gets hurt." I'm like, "Do it again, do it again." I'm like, "No." Yeah, it was a kid toss. It was interesting. Yeah, I would imagine so. I wouldn't be able to take care of a group of children. I don't think people would approve of kid tossing in daycares. So just, it's not my thing. I couldn't do nursing either. I can't. I don't know. I can help. Like I help take care of John, because that's what, for me, that's what family does. I came over here when he was confined in the wheelchair and Issa had to work, Talon's here, so was here, you know what I mean. And I would come over here, she'd pick me up, bring me over here, and I'd be over here every day helping him with Talon and making sure that they ate and making sure the house wasn't too disgusting because both him and her were both pigs. But trying to keep up with everything. And I was disabled myself. I mean, bad back, blah, blah, blah. But I was helping because that's, John was family and Talon was family. So that's what you do, And yeah. But then my real family was like, see you, bye. Yeah, and Jennifer, I know that the daycare Talon was in was having a hard time with him after his dad died because he started acting out. I told Issa to get him counseling, grief counseling, because he was 6 years old and didn't understand what had happened. He knew the words, but he didn't know what it meant, and he was having a hard time with it, especially when she started dating a week later. So all of a sudden, he had this strange man shoved in his life after his daddy disappeared. And he was causing problems. He was getting in fights, and she's complaining and bitching to me about it. And I'm like, look, get him counseling. So she finally did, and it helped him a little bit. And then she stopped, and apparently he tried to strangle the kid that lives upstairs from them. And I'm like, haven't talked to Jim again, So he calls her boyfriend his second daddy, or his new daddy, and that crushes me every time he says it. Considering as soon as the new boyfriend started having back problems, she started talking about leaving. I'm like, because she doesn't want to have to take care of someone else. Oh yeah, a week later. And then when that one ghosted her, she was seeing him for about 3 weeks. When that one ghosted her, she put she signed up for Plenty of Fish to look for a new man during a pandemic. The girl cannot survive without a man in her life. I do not know why, but that's her thing. So I haven't talked to her in about 3 months. I did get to talk to Talon last time I talked to her, though, and he was all excited. He did really well in school. He got straight A's, and he got straight A's and like a B, I think, but he had perfect attendance. He did really well. But the kids in daycare all day long, from like 8:30 in the morning until 6 o'clock at night. And when he goes to school, he's at school and then he's at daycare until 6. So, which is probably giving his mother better off for him. But I guess the new boyfriend, well, the one that she's been living with for about a year now, he's got a real bad back, so he's not doing well. And she doesn't want to have to take care of somebody else like she did John. All she did was complain about having to take care of John, which she never took care of him, so I don't know what she's complaining about, But according to her, she did everything she could to keep him healthy. Well, she's a liar because she didn't. But neither here nor there. I miss Talon. I miss seeing him. 3 months ago, she's like, oh yeah, we'll try and get over. Yeah, I love that summer. But she is still letting the utilities stay on in her name, so for that I am very grateful. Oh, and I found out my electric bill only went up by $10 this month, so that's good. My water bill went up because apparently the toilet was running, and my son either didn't notice it or didn't know what to do. He finally fixed it. So he said, that's on me, so I'll pay extra. And then he shorted me $25 on what he said he'd give me. And then doesn't think he should have to pay it back. I'm like, alrighty then. Gonna do what you're gonna do. Yeah, Jennifer, it's amazing how many people say they're certified or that they know how to handle kids and then they just leave them on their own. I mean, there are so many horror stories from daycares and stuff. When my kids were little, And everybody's like, well, just put the kids in daycare. We had 3 daycares up in Massachusetts in my city that got busted for abusing kids. And I'm like, nope, not until they can talk and tell me what's going on. You know? Yeah. It's, I was totally paranoid about something happening to my kids and them not being able to tell me, and so I waited until my son was 2.5, almost 3. So it was 96 or 97 that I worked for the catalog company, because that way I knew if anything happened, he'd be the first one to rat their asses out. And then mommy would be going to jail because I'd be on my way to kill somebody. You did what to my kid? So so that's why I got a kick out of it when my son said that, I never tried to better myself. He's like, you've done nothing with your life. You've never tried to better yourself. And I'm like, okay, I pretty much gave up whatever hopes, dreams, and things I had for my life when I had my kids. I stopped everything I was doing to take care of them, and ended up being poor as fuck because not working, of course, being in the system. You don't get enough to survive on in the system, and here's a kid that's working part-time at fast food at 27 years old telling me I've never done anything to improve my life. I'm like, you know what? Leveling up and getting higher XP points is not considered bettering yourself. So when you've done something impressive, you let me know. I love my kid, I do, but some of the shit that comes out of his mouth is complete bullshit. So, kitty litter in the sandboxes. Oh, that's nice. How many of those kids have breathing problems now, I did let my neighbors know that he was moving out though, so they'll be keeping an eye on things to I told them, I said, if you hear screaming, I said, it means there's a problem because nobody else is supposed to be in my house. They were like, okay. So I've got a couple of people that'll be keeping an eye on me to make sure I'm all right. Which is nice of them. Hotness, where did you go? Amy. She abandoned me. Don't snort at me, damn dog. So we'll muddle through. Oh yeah, the noisy ones. Well, the one right next to me his name's Luke, and he is the one that mows my lawn for me. He ran to the store for me the other day, which was very nice of him. And then the one across the street from him is the guy that has the big cookouts, and he's the one that usually runs to the store for me. He just wasn't home that day, and I was in the craft room and saw Luke outside, and I was like, so I opened the window and I was like, "Hey, Luke." So he's the one that has the new Roddy puppy, who is getting huge. Beautiful, beautiful dog. So they'll keep it. And I mean, Donnie, they're both connected with like everybody in the neighborhood. It's like they're related or friends with everybody that lives in this neighborhood. So, I'll be all right. Well, almost everybody. Although they are friends with the neighbors on the other side, they're not related because those are the only white people in this end of the street, except for the redneck hillbilly racist people that live at the very end of the street that nobody really associates with their very loud truck and their rebel flag hanging high on an actual flagpole in their yard. Yeah. One of which I almost came down off my porch one day at one of them, before I lost my leg, because I was talking to the girl that used to live across the street, and she was down on in my front yard, and I was on my porch, and I was talking to her, and he walked by and made some racist ass fucking comment. I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? I was like, who the fuck do you think you are? I said, don't make me come down off this porch and kick your ass in the street. And she didn't even realize what he had said. And she was like, what just happened? And I told her, and she goes, he said what? I'm like, yeah, exactly. She goes, well, shit. So they moved out, though. Yeah. I don't, you want to hate people, that's fine, but don't do it out loud where other people have to deal with it. You know what I mean? You're entitled to your opinion. We're entitled not to hear it. Just because you have freedom of speech doesn't mean you don't have freedom from consequences. So, no. But they moved out, and other people moved in who are related to the people to Luke and his people that live there. So they're all related to everybody. And everybody looks after Miss May, who's like 90-something years old, lives by herself now, since her husband died a couple of years ago. And she's a cat lady, the one that comes outside with cat food, and like 50 cats come crawling out of everywhere. It's like seriously a scene from like a Stephen King movie or something. Just it's like Catopia. Cats just come everywhere. I mean, they like teleport into her yard. It's amazing. And so everybody kind of keeps an eye on her too. Exactly. Thumper philosophy. My mama always said, if you can't say nothing nice, don't say nothing at all. That's right. So, yeah, they mostly stay down there into the street. So, I don't have, that was the only dealing I've ever had with them. And they walked past plenty more times, never said anything. They could now. I'd have to get down there, get it across my driveway, and run them over with my wheelchair. Hey, Willow. So now it would be too much of an effort. I'd have to get like a paintball gun and shoot them from a distance or something. Big splat of bright pink on their forehead. Poof, you're a fucking unicorn, asshole. Have a nice day. And it would have to be the kind of paint that stains, so they'd have that big pink splotch on their forehead for, days. Hell yeah. Oh. Sorry, I'm still tired. Willow, Amy abandoned me. She's been here for like 45 minutes now, almost an hour, and yet nothing. She's been muted and quiet. So I'm talking to myself here. Awkward silence while I'm yawning. This is what happens when I'm by myself up here. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. So I think I've covered everything, my personal drama and bonuses and plans for the house and the wheelchair being working fine and my kids still being a shit. And we covered respecting auctions and people that are running them and bidding in them and things like that. And ew, triple digits. It's supposed to be in the 90s here today. Of course, humidity will be high, so it'll be like pea soup out there. half and half, Willow. He hasn't slept here since Monday night, but almost all his crap is still here. Even though he's been in and out of the house twice a day, except for Wednesday night. Wednesday night, he didn't come back, so the dogs went almost 24 hours without going out. But I thought Thursday night, they were banging around out there for him and Hector were banging around out there for an hour and a half, and I thought they had moved stuff out, taken things apart and moved things. Nothing changed. Nothing has moved. Yesterday, he grabbed his gaming chair. Apparently, Tuesday, he took his PlayStation and his gaming monitor off me, which is how I knew he was seriously moving this time. So, yep, it is. Although today, if I have the energy to do it, I think, Cat, really? Come on. I think I'm gonna. I was gonna do it last night. By the time I got out there to make something to eat, I was like, nope. I'm gonna get his clothes out of my kitchen. He's got a laundry basket and a hamper out there. There's 2 shirts on the floor, 2 shirts and a towel on my floor. So that's gonna go in the hamper, and the rest of his clothes that are scattered everywhere are gonna go in the laundry basket, and all that's getting moved into his room. Because I'm tired of his clothes being in my kitchen. There's no reason for it. So, and if he doesn't have his stuff packed up by Wednesday, I'm gonna have his life. He took his life with him, his PlayStation and his gaming monitor and his gaming chair. Those are gone. I'm gonna move some boxes over where my mom can grab them Wednesday because she's gonna bring food over Wednesday, my grocery order. And we're gonna start packing up his stuff. So if he doesn't have it out of here or packed up, it's gonna get packed. And it's gonna get stuck in a corner somewhere. And if he turns around and says he wants it, and I have stuff in front of it, oh well. He can play Tetris and rearrange things. Yep. Now see you to Amy. Bye, Amy. So, I have plans for that room, and I can't do it with all his crap and the stuff that's not even supposed to be in the house anymore still there. He had said that he would be moved out by the time they change his schedule, but he hasn't been sleeping here, so I don't see what his schedule has anything to do with. When I asked him when they were going to change his schedule, I asked him Monday. He said probably by Sunday, which means his work knew 3 weeks before I did that he was moving. So, yeah, he doesn't wear tighty whities. He wears boxer briefs, but no, I'm sure he took all his. I haven't been in the bathroom to look to see. That bathroom is so disgusting right now. He's got trash in the sink. I don't know what's empty bottles everywhere, shampoo and stuff. I don't know what's what. I'm sure he took his personal stuff with him, but yes, a lot of his clothes is still in the kitchen. He did take some stuff, so yeah, I don't have a problem with his stuff staying here. I don't, but he, needs to pack it up and get it stacked up neatly somewhere. I mean, I have to put the stuff that's in my room out there, and I can't do it with all the crap. He's got his bed laid on the floor. It's a queen size bed, and the box spring is still out there, standing upright. And there's 2 dressers out there that need to go. So if him and Hector don't get that stuff moved out, which he promised me and my mother that he would do. If he doesn't get it moved out, I'll have to put the dogs in the craft room and ask my neighbors to help me get that shit out. So one way or the other, his stuff is either getting out or getting packed. And if I pack it, he's not going to like the way I pack it. I'm just going to throw everything in boxes and stick it in a corner. So, I mean, I'm not going to throw out his stuff, but the stuff that does need to be thrown out needs to be thrown out, I mean, if he's not living here, he doesn't need the space, and I do. So, but he had already said that he was probably going to leave some stuff here, and that's, I had told him that was fine. Just make sure it's packed up neat. Oh yeah, his dog has a tendency to pee on his bed, which is why he always picked his bed up and set it upright. The box spring is broken, so I mean that should have been taken out of the house 6 months ago. but he always picked the mattress up so his dog couldn't lay on it and pee on it, and that's been on the floor. He didn't even take his pillow, the pillow he took that was mine, that he put his lion pillowcase on. He didn't even take that. That's still out there. His blankets are still out there. I mean, whatever, but if he doesn't, I'm not having a queen size mattress laying on my floor for the dogs. No, He's got a recliner out there that he broke. It's okay, Lexi. The recliner broke, and now his dog sleeps in that. So that needs to go out the door. The dogs can have blankets on the floor. That's fine, but I can't have huge pieces of furniture out there for them because no, nothing really. But Lexi, just rambling on because I'm all by myself. Yeah, I mean, consideration where his mother is concerned is not in his vocabulary, and I'll do what I need to do, and my mom and I can pack up his stuff and put it in the corners, stack it up in the corner, and there you go, have a nice day. But my stuff is all going to get moved in front of it. I can't sing, Lexi. I used to be able to long ago, but I can't sing anymore. Because I want all of the piles, the storage unit look I want out of my bedroom. You know what I mean? I don't mind the storage unit look in my living room because that's where I'm gonna. Okay, well, yeah, Papa. See, I mean, at least he worked. He was out of work for 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. 2 of those weeks he was able to 2 to 3 months. 2 of those months, 4 months. I know the first 2 months he was out of work, he was still able to pay rent. The last 2 he couldn't, and I had to cover him. My mom actually had to cover $25 of our rent this past month because this house costs more to run than I get a month. And my YouTube angels and my mom were the ones getting me food, of which he ate 3/4 of. But I don't care if he games. I really don't. If I had the money, he wouldn't even have to work. He could just game all the time if he wanted to. I wouldn't care. But I don't have the money to do that. So him paying his fair share is only fair, and he doesn't feel the need. So he did say that he would still pay rent, pay half the expenses and whatnot. Although I really don't think I'm going to tack in the money for the internet because he's not going to be using it. I mean, his dog is still here, so she still needs the AC, and she still drinks water. So he can still help with the water and electric bill. But I don't see his dog tapping into a gaming system or a computer. So I'll do the internet myself. But because I'm a fair person, he's accused me of being money grubbing and wanting money for everything, and that I don't deserve money for everything. I'm like, whatever. I only ask what's fair. That's, I split everything 50-50 when he uses the majority of everything, But I don't know why he thinks that I'm like that, but I'm not. So yeah, I'll probably take off the 40 that he pays for the. Yeah, it would be funny, Lexi. Although she'd more likely chew on the system than play anything. His dog likes to chew on things. But I won't charge him for the 40 for the internet because he's not here using it. Yeah, dogs and controllers. It'd be history. He brought in a package that I had gotten one day, and instead of just taking one step, opening my door and handing it to me, he left it out in the other room, and his dog chewed on it. Luckily, it didn't damage it. Hi, Willow.
Hello.
Luckily, she didn't damage what was inside it, but I didn't appreciate getting my box all chewed up. I was like, what the hell? You couldn't have just handed it to me, Nope, apparently not. I mean, literally, you walk in my front door, and you close the front door, take one step to your left, and you open my door. That's where my bedroom door is. So there's no reason he couldn't have brought anything in. He's done this a couple of times. Oh, yeah, I brought that in. It's out in the other room. What the hell? You know? So, yeah. I mean, I have the leaning tower of boxes out in the living room from my rice cooker is in that pile, and I've got like 3 things that need to go into my craft room that I told him when he brought them in. I said, oh, that goes in the craft room. And he just piled everything up in the living room. And I'm like, so now I have to try and get these big awkward boxes into the craft room. My mom won't be able to do it because I have to put Rogue in there because Rogue tends to nip. And I don't want my mom bleeding because of the dog. So now I have to try and do it myself in the wheelchair, awkwardly. So that should be fun. The only reason I even knew he was here this morning is because I heard the dogs in the craft room, and I closed them out of that room last night when I was out there because they don't need to be in there. There's a broken window that I don't want them sticking their noses on because I don't really need, blood all over the place so the dog's getting hurt. The window's also open, and I can't close it all the way. You need to be able to have, the leverage to press down on the little ledge thing to close the window, and I don't have it in the wheelchair. And because the window's broken, it's not like I can just grab it and pull it down. So, yeah. So I closed the door because it was affecting my AC, But he don't care. He just leaves the door wide open. Dogs go in there and whatever. It's a mess. And we'll get it figured out. I mean, if Miha and Simi got along, I could have the doors open. If Miha, Simi, and if Miha and the cats were okay, I could just have my whole house open, and the animals could wander wherever. But I have to keep separation. So, oh, Lexi, I'm sorry you're not feeling good. I'm still technically in bed.
Oh, that sucks, Lexi.
Yeah.
Right now I'm getting attacked by a 8-inch tall fur ball.
Well, the other thing that sucks is that with that bathroom, if he doesn't clean up that mess that he's left in there, I'm the one that's going to have to clean that up because the bathroom, you have to go through the craft room to get to the bathroom, and my mom won't be able to get in there to help me with it because of the dog. So I'll have to try and do that myself, which means my grabber will be getting a lot of use because I can only get so far into the bathroom, then I can't reach anything, and the sink is full of trash. I don't understand people living like that. I'm like, what are you doing? Ugh, he eats in the bathroom. There are like empty chip bags on the sink, and I'm like, what the fuck? Ew, like that is not my dining or snacking area of choice. No, thank you. But well, we know you'll survive, Lexi, but it's still miserable to go through.
There she is.
Yep.
She's getting huge.
Yeah, she is.
Ooh, what's that?
See, I had a cat that looked like that, and I named him Chewbacca because he was all fuzzy.
Yeah.
So I called him Chewy. He's one of the cats that had the problem with Frontline. Frontline almost killed that cat.
Yeah.
And he was very mentally challenged after that.
Yeah, I had issues with Frontline as well. I also had anaphylaxia with vaccines in 2 dogs. Yeah, there's been, I don't know, a lot of the chemical stuff that they put out for that stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Advantage never gave my cats a problem, but the Frontline did. So I mean, I had like 11 cats at the time, and I had 2 that had problems with Frontline. And trying to get that shit off a cat is not fun. And I bled like a motherfucker because I had to dunk those cats in a tote filled with soapy water to try and get that shit off.
Yeah, and then a percentage of it still has already absorbed into the oils of their skin, which is
Yeah,
the
I know.
purpose, you know.
Yeah.
So you still had some effects.
Yeah. So I have Frontline for the dogs, and I have Advantage 2 for the cats on my Amazon list. So that's going to cost me 50 something, almost $60.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was saying my electric bill only went up by like $10. So even though my son shorted me on the amount he said he was going to give me, I still have enough to cover my Amazon order, my food, my phone, and my prescription this month.
That's good.
So yeah, that's nice.
Exhausted.
Thanks to my YouTube angel there, I won't need cat food for the next like 5 months, and I got 2 bags of dog food out there, so, and I got plenty of cat litter, so I'm good. So I had to put a pooper scooper thing on there because my son seems to be having a problem picking up landmines in my house. He left one out in the kitchen for 2 days, and it was like right in front of the stove. So luckily I had stuff I could microwave and didn't need to actually use the stove. But
Trying to take my cheek off.
so, because having stuff on the floor like that interferes with my ability to move around the house, I was like, well, you know what? We'll just have to get something so I can take care of that problem myself if I need to. So that's another $15 on my Amazon order. But because without that extension, because it's like, I don't know, like 8 inches tall. It's one of the little handheld ones that if you're outside and you're walking around, you'd have to bend down to use. But the ones that have the handles on them, one have like a rake thing, and that would leave too much of a mess on the floor. And 2, the handles would be awkward for me sitting in the wheelchair to use. So I figured the smaller handheld one, I can bend enough out of the wheelchair to use that. Without that extension, I can't reach stuff that's on the floor, so I can't clean it up. So I've worked around the solution to that problem. I also put Litter Genie refills, the refill bag things on there because it'll make it easier for me to get my cat box cleaned up every day. Walmart bags are not really odor sealable, and since it can't go outside every day, I need to be able to figure out a way around that. So I did. I already have the Litter Genie, so I might as well use the liners for it. See, I'm figuring out ways around stuff. I had already gotten the litter scoop with the handle on it, so I can use it sitting down. And I have one of those little dustpans with the handle, a little broom. It's black and purple. So
this one's she's getting harder to handle. We're having to teach her, like, Sis soaks her feet every day, so there's like a little tote that she puts water in, and we've learned that that's hot and that we don't want that. She was fascinated because it's clear. She was fascinated that she could see feet but couldn't get to them, and we had to teach her, no, you can't dive in hot water and things. But we got there. Now she does other things that doesn't really interest her much, and we're having to learn about gentle play and not trying to take my face off. Quit. Gentle. She's getting better, but I have to remind her a lot. She's at that age. But she is learning. So we know where our potty box is, and she's done really good with that. We had one mishap in the first 24 hours, and then after that she's been spot on 100%. So
cool.
So she's coming along really well.
Onyx finally calmed down. I don't know what was up that cat's butt this morning, but good God, she was vocal. She's now passed out in my wheelchair.
This one will get to playing with toys and things and chitter to herself. It's adorable.
No, she was yowling like she had her eyeball stuck under the damn door and her legs, and I don't know if she was trying to get to the dogs or what the hell she was trying to do in that connecting door, but she was all verbal about wanting to go in there, and I'm like, nope. And the other day when I had to go in there and I closed that door to keep the dogs out, and I had the connecting door open, so of course instantly both cats right in that room. And Marty amazingly came back in my room without a problem, but I didn't know if Onyx was already in here because usually she comes back in on her own. So I'm sitting there, I'm calling to her, nothing. Well, my old wheelchair, my son, instead of taking it outside where it was supposed to go, he just put it in the craft room. So I wheel down to see if the cat is under the table that's over there, and there she is laying in the other wheelchair, and I'm like, doesn't matter where you go, you're gonna find a wheelchair to lay in, doesn't it?
Well, that's what they're used to, so that's what they're going to look for.
She loves sleeping. Well, they adopted John's wheelchair as soon as it was in the house.
Yeah.
As soon as they were allowed in there, that was her spot. So, but yeah, I had to get her out of that and get her back in my room because I can't take the chance on him showing up if I'm asleep or whatever and the cats are in there and him just opening the door and letting the dogs in there. Because one, Miha and Simi don't get along, so if that door is open, I'm going to have a dog fight in my house. So, but I don't know.
Gonna get you again. Gonna get you.
He's still not communicating with me at all, so I still don't know what's going on. But like I said, one way or the other, I will get his stuff organized or whatever and be able to start pulling my stuff out of here. Because I am totally over the storage unit look. I want my bedroom back.
Be nice. She's just all wound up right now.
Stop. I cannot wait to get the flea stuff so this dog will stop chewing on herself. It's driving me crazy. I hate that sound. Stop.
We haven't done flea treatment yet because we haven't had any signs of fleas in the house. We don't have a dog going in and out anymore to go potty, so
yeah.
I mean, I have it on hand if we need it,
Yeah.
but we haven't had to use it yet. We haven't seen anybody itching, scratching. We haven't seen no signs of anything like that. So
these guys are all tore up. So, I mean, they are not in a good way.
Well, the perimeter, the skirting basically of the house has all been sprayed with pesticide to mainly trying to get the ants under control, but it also works for pretty much anything.
Yeah.
We all would, Christine, and hello.
Yeah, if everybody that wants to help me actually lived close enough to do so, this stuff, hey Wes,
The house would be
everything would be done in like half a second. You know what I mean? It would be completely done. So,
hey Wes.
And I appreciate that because I know people would be here going, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Let's move it. So. It's for you.
Fucking ring. I ain't in the mood.
So, but I mean, Tina did have a good idea of getting like a wagon or something to help my mom bring groceries into the house so that she's not carrying because he won't be here to help. And,
that's what we use. We have a garden cart that we.
I just can't afford to get. I can't afford to get anything right now. So
yeah,
you know. And I don't. There is a table thing that I can get. It's an attachment that I can put on my wheelchair. It's called a laptop desk, and it attaches to the leg instead of the arm, and it lifts up. So it's, you know, you don't have to have it in your face all the time, which would tremendously help me transfer things from one place to the other. You know, like when I make food and I don't want to sit in the kitchen by myself and eat, you know, and then that way I wouldn't have to wheel with one hand and wheel with the other, and it offsets my back, so I'm horrible. But it's $100. It actually went down from 130 to like 101. But if I had one of those, I could put some of the groceries on that, and at least transfer it from like the door to the kitchen, you know. But as it
Yeah.
is, I have to watch my poor mom carry everything into the house, and I feel bad because normally I'd be the first one out there helping her.
Well, with that wagon, even with the little bit of a lip on the outside, you just wheel that thing in the damn kitchen.
Yeah, I know. So
That's what we're wanting to do here once the ramp is put on.
so
We just load them in that cart from the car and just wheel them right into the damn kitchen.
Yeah, well, that's what I would have her do,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But
It's way easier, you know.
Yeah.
As it is right now, we have to put them in the cart at the car, wheel the cart to the deck, unload them on the deck, and then carry them in the house. And it would eliminate all those extra steps and all that extra handling and lifting just to be able to wheel it in the house.
right.
And then you can just unpack
Well, I
it
mean,
right
like
there out of the cart.
when I do have to buy dog food again, which right now I've got 60 pounds of dog food out in that room, so it should I should be good for at least the month, rest of the month for that.
Yeah.
Because I am feeding 3 dogs, so
I'm gonna switch my lighting so this lamp ain't blaring.
okay.
I'm still here.
Okay. I'm gonna have to have it delivered. I'm gonna have to buy it off Amazon or something, have it delivered because there's no way I'm not having my mom lift even a 17-pound bag of dog food. So what I'll have to do is have it delivered, and my son can drag it in the house and put it away and everything. Hopefully.
She's at that age of the ultimate case of the zoomies. You stand up and she wants to pounce.
So
At least we've learned not to try to take a huge hunk of hide.
I mean, I figure he'll help with the dog food. He should be helping pay for it too because his dog lives here. But he'll at least help drag it in the house and put it in the bins that it goes in, you know, because it's for his dog too. But I don't know. There's no telling, you know. So
Well, if you're going to live under a rock, hopefully it's a great big one. And there's a beautiful house underneath in a berm of a hill or something. Be very energy efficient.
I mean,
you wouldn't be able to plant a garden on your roof.
I am thinking of ways to adapt things and adjust to. I mean, I will eventually have some use of that prosthetic. It's just a matter of how much and when. I don't see me actually walking just like normal people because my knees are too bad. But I will at least be able to stand up and stay in one place because I was fine standing still. It's just that motion of taking a step kills my knees. So I don't know how well that will go, but at least I'll be able
to get your knees replaced.
Yeah, and who's going to help me then? Nobody. So
that's what home health care is for.
Yeah, they don't do that here. They come and take your blood pressure and take care of wounds. That's it. They don't help with anything in the house. They don't help with meals. They don't. I've had home health care here. She came and took care of the wound on the bottom of my foot, took my stats, and that was it. They don't do anything else. They don't provide any other services than wound care. Unless you pay for it, which I can't afford. So, nope. But so basically the wheelchair will be transportation to where I need to go, and then I can stand up and do what I need to do. So eventually I won't need everything oriented towards me being in the chair. I can still have stuff on upper shelves that I'll be able to reach. Right now I can't. Hey, Wendy.
Hey, Wendy.
Why would I go to a rehab? Who's going to take care of the animals then? Nobody. Yeah, there would be nobody to take care of Simmy or the cats. Yeah, and it's nice.
So now I just got to make a bottom, and then I'm gonna do a cap top with a
Yeah.
little fastener, but I'm gonna put it where the fastener aligns, like in one of these dead zones here,
Hmm.
and do it that way to where this is basically the back, because it's gonna be too hard to replicate and align a cap up with that motif. It'll be a
Yeah.
lot easier with that. So
Yeah, they offered me rehab when I had the amputation. I told them no. Plus, I can't be away from Simmy that long, just because Simmy is kind of like my Simmy is kind of like my emotional support type of thing. And I was going crazy being in the hospital for 5 days without her. I couldn't even imagine being in a rehab facility without my dog. So yeah, whenever I'm away from my dog, something happens. The only reason it didn't happen the last couple of times was when I was living at the other house with my son. He was taking care of her. Although at this point, with the way he's taking care of the dogs now, I'm kind of wondering what the quality of her care was. It's 11:51 a.m. And now with the way he's been treating the animal, I'd be so paranoid about leaving them here all day, all alone, by themselves, all day long, every day, that no, I just couldn't do it.
what are you doing, child? You hear a big
So,
thunk? It's just her playing.
okay.
I swear she's like doing backflips off of something over here. This is like pump. Oh, now she's skiing on a piece of paper. She loves paper, so I gave her some crumpled up
It's peanut butter and jelly time. Not with this peanut butter. I'm not eating that crap. Nope.
That's
I'm
what I
not.
had for breakfast.
My son got me the wrong peanut butter, Willow. He got me reduced fat, and it right through me. Nope. It's nasty. It doesn't taste like peanut butter. It's got a nasty aftertaste, and nope.
Oh,
He
I'm
spent.
getting an alert. There was a thump on the deck. Let me go check. It's about
Okay.
that time for the postal service if I've got any parcels.
So, although if I had real peanut butter, I'd go and eat the rest of his strawberry jam that's out there. Because he's still got like this much left in the jar of strawberry jam. I'd have already eaten that. Because I mean, he took food out of this house to take over there when he knows there's very little for me to make here, and that's not right. Because they both have good jobs and they have plenty of food. So yeah. And I told him to ration his money this month, but he didn't. So so I ate his hot dogs last night, and I was doing that for a while when my back hurt too bad and I couldn't get out. I had real peanut butter in here, but that was gone. That's why I had him pick me up another thing of peanut butter. And he got the wrong kind and the wrong size. He paid $3 more for the wrong kind of peanut butter. That's all they had. Well, I have Messenger. You should have messaged me and said, "Hey, all they have is reduced fat. Do you want me to get that?" And I would have said no.
Well, that was exhausting.
He has no problem spending my money on crap that I can't eat.
Yeah, I wouldn't eat low-fat peanut butter either. I like just plain old-fashioned Peter Pan.
My go-to is Skippy, but Jif is cheaper and it's a close second, so that's what I wanted. And
Jif is what I get, or what I had to get during COVID when Peter Pan was like non-existent. You couldn't find any anywhere.
So,
Oh,
I know. I even checked to see if his peanut butter was still out there, but it wasn't because I would have eaten that. Because he gets honey peanut butter. And it's not my favorite. It's too sweet, but it's better than this crap.
I
But
love it.
he either ate it all or he took it with him.
This was out for delivery yesterday at like 6 a.m. And at 10 a.m., it changed to ready for pickup. And I'm like, what? So I didn't know. I had to double check the tracking, but this is the one that they did that to yesterday. So thankfully, I don't have to try to get to the post office.
That's good. Okay, Wendy.
Cool, Wendy.
Ooh, wire wrap butterflies. Pretty. I miss being able to make things. I want to make things. Yeah, we're only going to be on for another half an hour, 20, 35 minutes or so.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll be hitting my 3-hour mark, and because I'm still on the free version, and I can't squeeze StreamYard into my budget this month, so I was hoping I'd be able to.
The hours.
Yeah, I was hoping I'd be able to, but because of my son shorting me on the money he said he was going to give me, which was $25, which would have been my StreamYard fee, I can't do it. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Little shit.
and I'm not going to short myself on food so that I can have unlimited StreamYard. That's just ridiculous.
Helpful.
That's
And then we
just
get the
ridiculous.
plastic off. The cat climbs up on the box.
Hmm.
I have help.
You're right, you haven't, Wendy, because you don't love me enough to come on my panel anymore. And I couldn't do the copper compression gloves this month, but I am getting new ones of these, so that will do. Because being able to not bash my knuckles is more of a priority, and these are helping with the pain anyway, so the neuropathy pain. So if I get ones that fit even better than these do, that will be a help. I'm getting a hole in the finger. Yeah, little.
Were you able to get your meds sorted out so that you can get your prescription refilled?
Not yet. Doctor wasn't in yesterday, so apparently he took Friday off, so I have to call on Monday.
Oh. So hurry up and wait, basically.
Yeah. Ow.
Pew pew.
Hi, Wendy.
I'm not today.
Or Wendy's wall. Hi, Wendy's wall.
Hey, Willow.
Hi, honey.
How's
Hi, how you are?
How's Toad?
It's okay. It's doing good, Kodi.
Good. How's my
I
favorite
have
little
everything,
red?
don't worry. She's good.
Good.
Okay, I'm gonna mute because I'm gonna be crackling plastic here.
Okay.
You want to hear bubble
She's on
wrap?
summer holidays, isn't she? They broke up for summer holidays, so she's really good.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Mm-hmm.
So what's new? What's been happening, Wendy?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. No.
Oh.
No, it's been happening.
Everything been quiet on the Scottish front?
Yes.
Good. Because they really need to not put you in the middle of things. That's a really ugly cat.
I love it. It's
Okay.
it's a spool of thread and yarn and a kitty. This is Hull, which is super collectible. I think he's adorable. This thing is old. Bag of corks.
Everybody needs one of those. You okay, Wendy?
Yeah, it was Jack's little sister. Sorry.
No, these are old wine corks.
Tell her you're on a live, damn it.
No, she was showing me a diamond painting she's just completed.
Ah.
Ah.
I agree, Jennifer. I agree.
1 minute.
But they tried to put Wendy and Jack in the middle of it, shit again, and they need to stop doing that.
What'd you get off of there, you little bugger? They left a piece of scotch tape on this baby doll's arm, and now it's all sticky, so I'll have to use some remover to get it off of there. Very old doll. She needs her hair done.
Kodi looks like Kodi looks tired.
Kodi is tired. Kodi almost didn't get up for her live today.
Horseman, 1964. I'll have to look her up. See who she is. And make her some new clothes.
Stop that, Wendy. You'll make me sleepier.
I'm tired.
You're always tired. You're either tired or hungry.
I ain't ate out all day today, Kodi. Surprise, surprise, when you ate all day.
She'll come on my live and go, oh, I gotta go eat.
Yeah. Oh, I'll sit in chat. I've got to eat. I'm so tired.
Yeah, I'm tired too. Stop it! Oh, fuck!
I'm really tired, Kodi.
No, so am I. Stop that. It's gonna become a yawn fest. Everybody in my chat's gonna fall asleep.
Well, this one's it's dated vintage, but I know it's still being produced today.
Hey, Key Lime. That's right. Wake the hell up, people.
Yeah, wake up.
Wake up, wake up. Get out of bed. Wake up, you sleepyhead. I sang that to my kids when I needed them to get out of bed, and if they didn't, then I flipped their mattress with them on it. I'm like, hey, you were warned.
Yeah, that one's not very old.
Yeah, I'm a mean mom. My son was horrible to get out of bed. He did not want to wake up whatsoever. I don't know how many times we had to dump him on the floor to get him to wake up. My daughter usually, as soon as you touch the edge of her mattress, she'd be like, I'm up.
Kodi, I've got to ask you a question. How's
What do you
my
think?
angel baby?
Your angel baby is a bitch.
I didn't find a marking on this doll. How weird.
She's currently being harassed by fleas, so I have flea stuff on my Amazon list, so hopefully they won't have to suffer. None of them will have to suffer for much longer. My son was supposed to pick some up the beginning of the month, and he spent his money on other things. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I have them on my Amazon list, and I'll get them when I get my money. On the 3rd, I put my order in. Hopefully it won't take too long to get here. Although the flea stuff for the cats, I did have for cats over 9 pounds, but I really don't think these heifers are more than 9 pounds. So the there's no price difference between the smaller cats and the larger cats, but the one for the larger cats was discontinued from that seller. And then you have the option of doing different sellers, and I hate that because I don't really trust it. I mean, if they were legit, why isn't it on their list when you're buying stuff? So I put the one for the smaller cats on the list. It will do. Because I don't like it when they have to suffer like that. And I just haven't had the money for it myself. And he did and didn't buy it, so I will get it.
Hey.
I'll get it and get all the babies taken care of, and we'll be good.
Yeah.
And I'll have to treat his dog too, which, for me, what John and I used to always do is, because he had Miha and Dodge and I had Simi, is we would buy the 3-pack and I would pay for a third of it. You know what I mean? So with this, Miha is kind of my dog too. So because she was my dog and John's dog. So with this situation, it would be like he would pay for a third because he'd pay for Rogues, but he doesn't see it that way. He'd just be like, well, you're my mom, and that's what family does. So it's okay. It's on his part, but not on my part. So I'm not even going to bother asking for that third. And all of them have to be treated. I mean, it's not like I can do 2 dogs and leave the last one to suffer. I mean, that's just cruel, so.
I got one for the puppy yesterday and I turned it down.
Yeah.
I've got too many animals.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, I should only have 1 cat and 1 dog, but because I have John's cat, Wendy's little angel. Yeah. She's not an angel. I don't even know where she is right now. Probably in a box where she doesn't belong.
Yeah, I'm gonna move this out of the way here.
Okay. I mean, when it comes down to it, if he's not able to take Miha with him, I'm not going to be able to keep her because I won't be able to take care of 2 dogs by myself. Just not physically able to do it, Besides, Miha has a tendency to snap the runner cable, and there's no way for me to get that dog if she gets off. If she breaks it, and then I'll have no way to put Simi out at all. So I wish my yard was fenced in. I really do.
Hey.
Stop it.
I can't help it, Kodi. I'm tired.
So Wendy came on my panel just to make everybody tired.
No, I didn't. I come on to say hi because nobody's seen me in a while, and I've been like a ghost.
Yeah.
I've been in and out.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
And I have been staying in chats neither, so.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry I don't respond to all the messages because sometimes my hands just hurt too bad for me to type. So.
It's okay. I understand.
Yeah. I wish I could get those compression gloves this month just in case I can't get my meds, but as it is, I'll have to do the glove.
Your meds? Oh no.
So I don't know if they'll do it. The doctor wasn't there yesterday, so I have to call Monday. And I don't know if he'll do it. And if he doesn't, that means I'm without gabapentin, so I'll be wearing gloves permanently, except when I have to do things with my hands. Because even though I do have other gloves like this, the same exact gloves on my Amazon list, and they'll fit closer to my, because these are too big. They'll fit better, but these are really thick. I mean, they're mechanic gloves, and so you can't really do anything, detailed. I can barely pick up a pen when I have these on, so typing is out of the question on this little tiny keyboard, things like that. So I have to take them off whenever I do anything. With the compression gloves, they fit like a skin, so I'd be able to function, but I don't have it in my budget for that. So they will have to wait. But I do need ones. These, I'm getting a hole in the ones I'm got on.
Where's Ma and Tim?
Probably sleeping.
Ah.
It's only, it's 11:10 there now. They might be up by now. Oh, there's Tim. Good morning, Tim.
Hey, Tim. Hey, my partner in crime.
So, but yeah, I'm getting a hole in the right glove on my finger. See it?
Oh.
So, and they're too big, and my son's dog chewed them up. So I need better gloves. And these are what I use when I'm in the wheelchair because they have the knuckle guards on them. And just in case I, scrape a doorway, my knuckles can't handle that kind of damage. So these help a lot. And I was trying to wheel the wheelchair without these. The palms of my hands were hurting because of the friction and, neuropathy, even with my meds. So that's why I started using the gloves. So I've got new ones of these on order. I can't afford the compression gloves right now. So maybe next month I'll be able to get them. But for now,
How's your new wheelchair? Is it doing good?
It's good. It's good. I can stay in it longer. It's more comfortable. I like it.
Good.
My son apparently thinks I can just bounce up and down and get in and out of the damn thing at will, but even though I told him with the bad knee, I can't do that. And, sometimes I injure, I hurt my back more, so that it's just not feasible to get in it. And he don't care. He's like, whatever. So that's what he said. That's why he said he was moving out now, is because he waited until I got my new wheelchair, which is what I asked him to do. That's not what I asked him to do. I asked him to wait until I had use of my prosthetic before he moved out, but it's fine. I just wish he would do something with all his stuff. Either pack it up or take it with you. Get all the crap out of the house that's not supposed to be here. Well, I'm glad you did, Tim. Thank you. We're all mostly asleep, especially thanks to Wendy yawning on camera.
Tim, I'm tired. I can't help it.
So.
Seriously.
I mean, if I didn't have to get the flea stuff, I'd be able to afford the gloves. But the animals are more important, so I will have gloves, just not the compression gloves that are more comfortable to wear. So I'll make do. It's what I do.
And Willow, how's the kitty cat?
Come here, Esme. Come here.
Oh my goodness, I get to see the baby. Kodi, the baby.
Yeah, I've already seen the baby. The gloves I found.
She's so tiny and cute.
Yay! The ones I found, key lime, are full fingered ones because my neuropathy goes up. I get neuropathy pain up to the top knuckle, so I can't do the fingerless ones. But they have a touchscreen pads on the thumb and on the index finger, and they're full finger gloves. So that will help. Yeah.
All right, go back to play.
I mean, these are helping, even though they don't fit tight. They're still helping with the neuropathy pain. Because I remember John used to put surgical gloves on, like not surgical, but medical gloves on when his hands started bothering him. And I tried it, and it did help. But the problem is with the latex or non-latex or whatever, my skin sweats, and I have very sensitive skin. So no, it has nothing to do with the copper energy in it. They're actually gloves for arthritis, which is what the copper is for. And I do have arthritis in my hands, so it might help with that too. But it's more for the pressure. If I have pressure on my hands, then the nerve pain isn't as bad. Without the gloves on, I wouldn't sleep. I wouldn't get any sleep. I didn't sleep for 48 hours when I first ran on my gabapentin, and then I remembered the gloves and put the gloves on, and I slept for like 5 hours straight. I was like unconscious because that little relief in pain. I mean, they still hurt, but instead of feeling like my hands have been dipped in hot lava, they just kind of sting a little. So it's easier to deal with. Yeah, the neuropathy pain in my hands is horrible. So when I want to do anything, like if I want to type or smoke a cigarette or wash dishes or cook, I have to take the gloves off.
Or scratch your ass.
No, I can keep them on for that. But, you know, it's a temporary, take them off, do what I need to do, put them back on. So.
Hey, Tim.
With the compression gloves, they fit closer to the skin, so I'd actually I wouldn't be able to wash dishes because, of course, they'd get wet, but I'd be able to cook and function just normally with them on. Although I would take them off when I solder because just in case of, fire, you don't want anything melted to your skin. So, but yeah, my metal stamping and things like that I could do with the gloves on. So yeah, I'm just trying to think of ways if I don't get the meds, and the meds that I got last time were not as effective as the ones I had previously. So instead of upping my medication again, when the pills don't work like they should be working, I can put the gloves on and it will help. Even if I do get my meds, but if I don't get my meds, then especially would be helpful to have them. But these will do for now. I'll be all right.
Hi, Jennifer. I don't remember either.
We shall make do. So. Yeah.
Yeah, I have compression gloves, but they're the ones that kind of stop the first knuckle here.
Yeah.
Because I don't really need it on up. Either they hurt or they don't. The gloves don't help any further up on that.
Yeah, I get the neuropathy pain all the way up to my fingertips.
Yeah.
So
yeah. On occasion, it'll get that far up, but the gloves don't improve it for me. So, and mine isn't so much neuropathy as osteoarthritis and a bit of bursitis. So
yeah,
just
the gloves
on the joints.
They don't have gloves for neuropathy.
Yeah.
All the gloves I looked at, all the compression gloves I looked at were for carpal tunnel and arthritis.
Mm-hmm.
But the same theory will apply. I mean, if these gloves, which are kind of loose on me, will work, then gloves that fit tighter will work better. So that's why I'm getting the size of these that I need, because these are a large. I need a medium. These were John's. And I'm getting medium when I can get them. I'm getting medium compression gloves. So.
All right, Tim. Bye. Love you, dear.
Bye, Tim. Tell Tina I said hi and I love her.
Bye, Tim. Love you.
So.
I set Esme down after I showed her to you, Wendy, and told her to go on and play. And, initially, they're very careful creeping up the side of a sofa. Not anymore. She just dove off, all four paws out, just plunk right on the floor, and then took off.
Oh, bless them. She's so
she's
cute.
well past all those tentative things.
She's so cute.
She's growing up big. And she is total alpha personality through and through.
What's KT?
You reprimand her and she just she just wants to at you,
Why would I put tape on my hands? But I don't know what KT tape is, so.
Oh, probably what is it? Kianetic, Kia Cynic, Kia, I don't know, something. Keezy, I don't know.
Is that shit that sticks to itself? Like that they put on dogs' paws and stuff?
Kind of, but it's like if I have to tape my shoulders or if I have to tape my knee, it's sports tape, but there's some kind of long weird name for it. It's like I don't know, starts with a K.
Well, I can't imagine me trying to wrap that around my hands all the way up to the tips of my fingers and then having to unwrap it and wrap it again. But I do have really sensitive skin, and a lot of tapes cause a reaction on my skin. They did use that self-stick tape stuff, like the stuff they put around dog paws. They did use that when I was in the hospital because the PICC line, the tape kept coming off that they had it taped down with, and I ended up getting a rash all the way around my arm from that. So I was like, my arm is itching like a motherfucker. Could you get this off of me, please? And they took it off, and I was all rashed out. And they were like, oh, that's not good. And I'm like, you think? So, yeah, I have really sensitive skin. Yeah, but the pain is constant, so temporary. I mean, if this was something that was going to go away, then yeah, I would probably give it a shot. But I mean, they had that tape stuff on me for about an hour and a half, and I just itched so bad. I was like, okay, well, this needs to come off. Yeah. Yeah, the peripheral neuropathy is a permanent thing. It just keeps getting worse instead of better. So, besides even the thought of having to use one hand to wrap the other hand, that hand is going to be in so much pain because I can't even pat my cat when I don't have my gabapentin for more than a couple of seconds because it feels like I'm touching a wire bristle brush. That's how bad it hurts. It's like rubbing my hands on sandpaper. It hurts so bad. And my cats are very smooth coated. I mean, Simi is silky smooth, and it hurts really bad to touch her. It's just my nerves misfire big time. But I don't know if I'll be able to get my meds again. So
I've pretty much kept my hands moving because of all the crafts I do.
Mine were too.
Otherwise, they probably would have locked up a long time ago. Because I've had arthritis in my hands since I was in my early 20s. Or at least that's when it was officially diagnosed. But I've had hand pain since I was in my late teens. Oh, the solicitors have begun. That's call number 4 so far today.
So we just deal with it as we have to. I mean, eventually I'll be able to get to the doctors. Hopefully, if they can give me an extension on it until like October, end of September, October, whatever, I can I'll hopefully have use of my prosthetic. So with use of a walker, I'll be able to get from my bottom of my ramp to the car, because that's the big thing. My driveway is sand, and I can't wheel the wheelchair across that. I've always needed help with that, and there's no one to help get me over to a car. So, oh, that's not good, Jennifer. So hopefully by then I'll be able to use the prosthetic at least enough to get me to the car, and then my mom can take me. But right now, with nobody to help get me across the driveway, there's no way I can go anywhere. So,
is that you, Jen?
because I can't power across the sand, and I'm not having my mother push my fat ass in a wheelchair across sand. That's just, no, it's not happening. Nope. Even going backwards, I wouldn't be able to do it across sand.
No, because you just sink.
Yeah. So
That house you're in is just not really equipped for, wheelchair handicap.
well, that's because nobody was in one before we moved in.
Yeah.
So that wasn't really a consideration, I mean,
Well,
John and I
yeah.
both, John and I both had bad backs and bad knees and everything, but we struggled up the steps. There was a ramp on the back, but it wasn't regulation angle. It was way sharper than 20 degrees. The landlord just put it on there for the lady that used to live here, and all I can say is she either had a really small washer and dryer or she didn't have one at all, because it was on the back door, which means she came in through that little utility area, and with the washer and dryer out there, I can't get the wheelchair in there. So I don't know how the hell she got up there with a wheelchair unless she didn't have anything else in there.
Could just be that it was easier for her to climb a ramp or walk a ramp than it was to climb stairs.
No, she was in a wheelchair.
Was she?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, she must not have had them then.
So that's the only thing I can figure out, because we have a standard washer and dryer, and they stick 4 inches past the door jamb, past the door frame. I just can't get the wheelchair out there. Otherwise, I'd be able to partially take care of the dogs myself. Things have to be rearranged out there for me to be able to do it comfortably, and even then, there's problems because if anything happens while they're out there, my dog's been attacked 2 or 3 times out there from dogs wandering through the yard. Miha's broken her tie out and gone after other dogs. I mean, something like that happens, I'm screwed. I can't get out there. I can't break up a dog fight. If my dog is injured and laying out there bleeding, I can't get to her. So, these are all things I stress about.
Yeah. I can see why.
If I could afford it, I'd get those panels, the chain link panels, like for the dog kennels.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have them hooked to either corner of my house and have it loop around, so I just have to open the door, let the dogs out, and then they can come back in, and then nothing can get to them. And I don't have to hook them up to anything. Yeah. That would be great. But I can't afford the panels. I need way too many of them,
Yeah. And they're expensive.
They are expensive. They're like $130 a panel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got a neighbor 2 trailers over that expanded his enclosure into, instead of just the back, it's got an L shape that kind of comes up,
Mm-hmm.
He expanded it, and that it's a pretty big expansion. I'd say 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd say probably 10 or 12 panels.
Yeah.
At least, plus one that's gated.
Well, the lady that's across the street, Miss May, the cat lady, she has a little black dog that's out. She did have 3 black dogs. I don't know where the other 2, what happened to them, but there's one left out there. And with the way she has it set up, there's like 8 or 9 of these panels. It's like this big octagon, and I'm like, can I have those? You know what I mean? I'm like, they used to have a big chow out there, so they had 2 of these things set up out there because the chow was by itself, and then the little dogs were in theirs. I don't think they have the chow anymore. That was his dog, and when her husband died, I think she got rid of the dog. But I don't know what happened to the panels or anything. I'm sure it went to family.
Probably.
Sold it or whatever. But there's just, it doesn't even have to be from one end of the house to the other, just partial to partial.
Yeah.
Just enough space for the dogs to go out and go to the bathroom,
Yeah.
And in case of emergency, if I did have to get down there, if I'm don't have the leg, then I'm not getting out the door. But I can get out my front door now, so that's good. I don't know how easy it would be to get back in. We still haven't worked that out yet, but he did put a lower door jamb thing on the front door, so I can get out. It's just still a lip on the outside to get back in. We're working on it.
I added fence to the front. We had an L shape, which was the back and the end, but I wanted it in the front yard. Yeah. So if I was out there gardening or whatever, then the dog that we had could go out with us, But we didn't leave her in the front because that's where people would come, drop off packages and stuff, the postal service and what have you. So she would go in her back enclosure because there was a gate separating the 2. The only reason that I was able to put that in is because I picked the fence from our old property. They were going to demolish it, the house, and I got permission from the new buyer to go over and pick the place before they took it down. And I was able to get all kinds of lumber and, fixtures and hinges and yeah, I took.
There is a place that will do like 300 feet, I think, worth of fencing, and they'll do it for free. But you have to show proof that your dogs are all fixed,
Mm-hmm.
and Miha's not, so they wouldn't do it. I'm like, you would think if the dog's not fixed that they would want it fenced in more, But and that's the other thing we have to worry about is she's not fixed and she's elderly. She's already lost 2 puppies because I kept telling John to get her fixed and he didn't want to. So I have to worry about the boy dogs that wander the neighborhood going, oh, look. And those dogs she doesn't try to kill. She's like, come see me, little boy. And I'm like, oh.
Well, it could be too where she's elderly that she might not, she may be postmenopausal per se.
Yeah, I have no idea.
It's whether or not she still cycles, whether she goes in heat or not.
Yeah, I haven't kept that close of an eye on it.
But I'm just saying, if she doesn't have heats anymore, she's not going to get pregnant.
I know.
But
I know how that works.
it's just making conversation.
Yeah, but sometimes you say stuff like I don't know anything about something that I do. So just
I'm
saying.
not directing it exactly towards you. The chat might not be aware either. It's just conversation.
Have
a good day.
Okay. Well then. Guess it's a good thing I was about to end it anyway. I'm at my 3-hour mark.
Yeah, you are.
So thank you to everybody that's in the chat.
Bye all.
I hope everybody has a good day and enjoys your Saturday. No fighting. Behave. And we will talk to you. I will be doing another live on Wednesday. So I will chat with everybody Wednesday or see you in the chats here, there, and everywhere. And Wendy's not going anywhere. She's going to stay and talk to me because I never get to talk to her anymore. But thank you, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye. Love you all.